AFL Coca-Cola Premiership Season brought to you by Wetcover, Cadbury, Amy, Herald Sun, Bank of Melbourne, Mitre 10 and TAC.
We've got it all. Give it to me, Friday night football. Demons make the game hotter than hell. Hawks fly higher than heaven itself. Keep it turned on, players take to the sky. AFL at 7 hours, party time. Come on now, don't it feel good? Wow, we're gonna rock the jam. This is Friday night fun.
Yes, welcome to Friday Night Football once again. Tonight it's Melbourne and Hawthorn. It has been a typical Melbourne day, 5 minutes of the 4 seasons, but a pleasant night at the moment. A terrific match coming up, a freshness about this match. We don't see these two teams too often at the G on a Friday night, and a very important game. Just where is Melbourne right now, and for that matter, the Hawks? Hello and welcome to Friday Night Football. My pleasure again to have Jason Dunstall alongside of me. Jason, it's a bit of a test. We're going to get some answers, I think, to some questions tonight on these two teams.
We certainly are, but before we do that, Bruce, I've got to say, the most outstanding sports broadcaster. Congratulations, it was a fantastic effort. I know it's going to embarrass you, but we had to do it.
That must be different, I think, because mine's at home, I think. Thank you very much. Now, there's some ins and outs. I want to get on with this in a hurry. Do you think that Stephen Phoebe's going to impact for Melbourne tonight?
He certainly will. He's a real possession getter for the Demons. Gives them a lot of drive out of defence. Might even be used up on the wing, and he really gives them some bite around the ground. Jamie Shanahan, key defender, perhaps not as important. Look for Hawthorn to play on someone that might run him up the ground, and Jeff White, well, they need someone and something special in the ruck to combat Salmon. Ben Dixon, we saw him go down against Freo last week, and his impact will be missed, but hopefully someone can fill up the void.
Jason, check these stats and tell us if they mean anything. Salmon versus White. Salmon's had the best of it so far this season. He has all comers.
He has. He's an absolute genius when it comes to the rucking duels, and that shows in the statistic. White hasn't played much footy, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes against the big fish. Loose ball gets Hawthorn number 1. That's a good stat. Not so happy about the hard ball gets Melbourne number 1, Hawthorn number 13, and I'm sure we'll see a little bit more of that tonight.
It's going to be a terrific game, and to join us as always and to look at the marquee matchups in just a moment, it'll be Robbo.
The 1999 Coca-Cola AFL Premiership Season proudly brought to you by Telstra, making life easier. The McDonald's Footy Burger, the double quarter pounder with cheese. Victoria Bitter for a hard-earned thirst, and the new Mitsubishi Magna 3.5, the next generation.
So exciting to have the Hawks back here under lights at the MCG. Let's hope they can repeat their last performance here. Robbo, isn't it exciting?
Well, I think, Jason, Friday night football is alive and well in Melbourne. We've had some fantastic matches. We saw a great game first up between the Kangaroos and Geelong, and this will be no exception, I'm sure.
Certainly will be some key matchups as we look at the marquee matchups. Jeff Farmer, he is an absolute excitement machine for the Demons. They'll need to do a job on him. He's only kicked 8 goals for the season. He could kick 8 in one night if you let him go. He's quick. You won't see those red boots tonight, we can guarantee that.
He's a bit of an excitable type too, isn't he?
Oh, he certainly is. Luke McCabe, probably the bloke that'll get the job on him. Second in our best and fairest last year. Mr. Consistency, and does get a lot of the tough jobs on the exciting forwards.
Very reliable run-with player, Luke McCabe, and I think that man there is crucial to Melbourne's chances in any game of football that he plays in, particularly tonight's match.
He needs to play well. Trent Crowd, a young fellow that's only played 17 games, I think, last year. He showed exciting form this year, and he'll probably get the job. It's a big test for him, but I think he's up to it.
I think that Trent Crowd is growing in stature with every match he plays, Jason.
He certainly is, and now it's time to check out the strategic spotlight. This is very interesting. I've got some statistics here, Robbo.
Good one, well done.
Melbourne have been criticised in the past for overusing the ball. Well, they're number 15 in kicks per game, so they're not getting that much of it, but they are using it particularly well. They are averaging 1 in 3 into their forward 50. That's a fantastic statistic. Number 3, in fact, in the AFL.
Well, you'd have to think that they're trying to give every possible chance to their 2 key forwards.
They certainly are. They're utilising possession very well out of defence, Robbo. They really play a possession game. They'll go wide, they'll go short, but then they will hone in on their key targets up forward.
Well, there's 2 of them there. David Neitz kicking the ball to Schwarz, and I've already mentioned Schwarz, but Neitz, he's been a little inaccurate with his goal kicking this year, but he is very much a key player. They have to take marks and certainly have to kick a bundle of goals, both of them.
This game has the potential to have absolutely everything. Let's hope it does, Bruce.
It's going to be an unbiased commentary too, I can assure you that. We can't take the hawk out of that boy, but we're going to be neutral, aren't we, Robbo?
No worries, Bruce.
It's time now on Friday night to step me up.
Last time I played Friday night football was in front of 60,000 screaming fans. This time, I'm ready and raring to go.
He's a key player, and this year he's had 23 marks in 3 matches, so he is maintaining his average, is Nick Holland. We're going to take a break from the MCG. After the break, we'll introduce you to our newsmaker tonight and have the opening bounce. This is the first Friday night football meeting in the 90s for the Demons and the Hawks. Their last night meeting was in the final round of 1996. 63,000 fans of the MCG saw the tightest of battles between the merger contenders. Dunster was in brilliant touch, kicking 10 goals, and the Hawks' winning margin of 1 point put them into the finals. Will tonight also be a night to remember? And welcome to the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Pretty good crowd here. It's building, probably around about 25 to 30,000. We'll get a few more than that as we welcome you to Friday Night Football and to John Russo. John, should be a good game.
It should be a ripper, Bruce. As you said in the intro, these 2 teams have had some great battles, and tonight should be no exception.
I wonder who our newsmaker's going to be tonight. To tell us all about that from 7 Nightly News. Good evening, Mark Doran.
Good evening, Bruce, and not a bad yarn this one. In racing parlance, Joel Smith is third up from a very lengthy spell tonight. You may remember it was here at the G back in round 18 of 1997 that he went down with a knee injury, then playing for St Kilda. So severe was that injury, doctors said the damage was normally only seen by victims of a car accident, so he's fought long and hard to get back. He's been eased through the first couple of rounds, but the Hawks expecting big things of him tonight.
Good on you, Mark. So we wish him well, Joel Smith, the former St Jeff White, an important inclusion, and down on the boundaries he always is on a Friday night, the Dipper.
Good evening, Bruce. Good evening, boys. Looking forward to this game. Everyone's expecting a very, very close game tonight, and the expectations on Hawthorn are giant in this game because of the long trip from Perth last week. They jumped on the plane straight after the game. I can certainly tell you the boys are very fit. And Bruce, the old hanky, bit of spitting on the old leggy, mate. Well done.
Good on you, Dipper. Should be a terrific game.
Interesting matchup, Bruce. Shane Crawford picking up Jeff Farmer.
That's a beauty, isn't it? Crawford on Farmer. Farmer at left half forward for the D's. They go to the left of screen, and Salmon and White is going to be a pivotal clash here. Trelevin out after it. Viney, the first kick of the match, and Farmer and Crawford are caught underneath it. And Farmer's read it beautifully, hooks it back right to the goal square, and front spot to Neitz. He was able to work his way in front of Graham. They had a battle, and that too is going to be a terrific duel.
It certainly is, Bruce. Mark Graham just asking the question to the umpire. Then he thought he was unfairly moved out of the contest. It was just strength from Neitz. He was able to hold his ground, push Graham aside, assume front position, and should finish it off with a relatively easy shot for goal.
3-6 so far this year. Robbo talked about his inaccuracy, but he really should get the first goal of the match. He's put it through. That's the start the D's wanted. Remember back to that final against Adelaide in the first week of September where he and Farmer just dominated?
Well, it certainly was a great start for the Demons. Just what Neitz wanted. He was very emotional after he did kick the goal. I'm just curious why Mark Graham, being the lighter of the two, tried to hold his ground when he perhaps could have run forward and maybe marked the ball or punched it above his head out in front.
Well, a very critical clearance from the centre by Todd Viney, and he's a very important player for the Demons. And down on the boundary line, the Hawks bench. Dipper.
Yeah, Robbo, we've got Jonathan Rodman, Bretto Farrell, Johnny Hassel and Chris Barlow.
Thanks, Dipper. And all boys eager to take their part in this match, I'm sure. Up high was White early. Gathered there by Leoncelli. Leoncelli's kick across his right shoulder. Holding on Crawford. Farmer. Little tap out to the advantage of Crawford. May have come from Leckers. Good play by Angelo Leckers. The ball at half forward for the Hawks. Knocking the ball clear was Walsh. Gathered by Lord. Tackled by Seacamp. Gang tackled in the finish. And forced over for a boundary throw in.
Now, John Russo, did he just have his head ripped off there?
You're letting those brown and yellow stripes show through. He tried to duck out of the tackle, mate, and that's not a free kick.
So the ball to be thrown in about 70 metres around from the Hawthorn goal. White up high. Gets his fist onto it. Down to Viney. A good smother there by Leckers again. So he's already been a prominent part in the early moments of this game. Angelo Leckers, he's been a terrific player for the Hawks, a most consistent performer. And we have the Demons bench.
Yeah, Scotty Chisholm, Stephen Phoebe, Russell Robinson and Luke Ottens, boys.
Thanks, Tip. So the Hawks in attack. White. And Holland White won it comfortably. Rigoni's handball missed the target. Chance for Chick. It's going to be a goal. Scores a level. He's a sharpshooter. He and Dixon have been good together. No Dixon tonight.
And I'll say one thing about Daniel Chick. He's been a little bit disappointed with his results. He does a lot of hard work up forward. Doesn't feel that he's getting the results in terms of goals. But in this case, he just snapped onto the loose ball off one step, settled. And that's a good bit of goal sense there, knowing exactly where they were.
Gee, if you want to be really critical, Guy Rigoni missed his target by a big margin in a very important part of the ground.
Yeah, you can't do it down back, can you, Robbo?
And Daniel Chick capitalised, as has been explained, and has kicked the equaliser. Hawthorn a goal, Melbourne a goal. White is jumping magnificently. Not quite timing it, but I'm sure that'll come. Knocked forward by Treleaven. Still Treleaven a chance. Chick again, back to Treleaven. Treleaven shot for goal, not bad, but getting back, the mark is taken by Longmuir. Longmuir on the last line of defence, kicks the ball out wide, and White very much into the fray early in this match, his first for season 1999.
Goes short and finds his target at half-back. This is Leoncelli. Leoncelli forced a kick and pretty sloppily in the end. Handball on the up to Treleaven. Treleaven actually rode it pretty well and slung himself out back to White, who's made a very, very promising start here and an impressive start to Johnston. #1 draft pick a couple of years ago. There's Woewodin with Leoncelli, and also running with them at the butt was Vandenberg inboard. White, another #1 draft pick from a few years ago. Caught up there was Longmuir. The Hawks crumble. Good handball to Joel Smith. Came from Hay. Smith's kick not good. Very poor, in fact. See Ingerson on hands and knees. Gee, Shanahan was good. Getting it across to Walsh. Walsh's little one into the centre. White yet again. Caught up this time by Hay. Was a reasonable tackle. Handball by Phoebe. Matthew to Johnston. Johnston at half forward. Looking. Gives it to Farmer. Farmer centering ball's a beauty. Gives Neitz a chance. Wonderful skills, Farmer. Vision. And then the strength of Neitz to finish it off.
Well, we certainly said it was going to be an exciting duel, Farmer and Crawford. Farmer's had a couple of key possessions, and both times he's driven the ball forward to the waiting arms of David Neitz. And once again, a strength battle. He held front position, pushed Mark Graham away, and took a relatively simple-looking chest mark. And that's no mean feat considering the form that Mark Graham has been in.
Should goal. There's the angle. Not much at all, is it? We'll follow it through. He's drifting it. He's missed, I think. That's a bad miss. We told you a moment ago he'd kicked 3-6 going in. Interesting with Farmer. Remember when Malcolm Blight played McLeod on Farmer in that final, which was an interesting move. Farmer cut him up. Crawford on Farmer tonight. I just wonder how long.
Well, I guess it'll be determined by the result of that clash so far. If Farmer keeps doing what he's doing, I think they'll take Crawford away and try and get some use out of him in another part of the ground, perhaps on the ball.
Well, he's an integral part of the makeup of the Hawthorn side, and he's got the football right now, Shane Crawford. and good protection off the mark allows him to run past the player that was minding the mark, and eventually the ball kicked down to the wing. The protection for Shane Crawford provided by McCabe.
And in relation to Luke McCabe's action, Robbo, they're very, very smart. He knew he wasn't allowed to stand there if he were in front of the mark, so he stood behind the mark, waited till Shane played on, then shepherded.
Fair point, John. Boundary throw in. Salmon gets rid of his opponent in that ruck contest. Seacamp plays the ball close to the line and then just goes down there about 3 or 4 metres to force a boundary throw in. Melbourne 7, lead Hawthorn 6. And the footy fans are here in their throngs. It's a pretty good crowd here for Friday night football at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Salmon and White again. Salmon just a little bit better body strength. Chance now for the Hawks through Harford. Kicks the ball towards the forward pocket area. Taylor and Uze, still Uze. The boundary umpire there in the foreground has indicated that Adam Uze had gone over, so we'll have a boundary throw in about 95 metres around from the Hawthorn goal. Expected minimum 12, currently 16. Quite a good night, but I mentioned that there is a threat of a little bit of rain maybe to fall in Melbourne tonight. Tingay can't get away from that congestion, and now the umpire has decided to ball it up. It's between right wing and right half forward flank favouring the Hawks, and it is, Jason, an interesting setup for Jeff White to protect that knee.
He's certainly carrying a bit of baggage there all up, with the thigh pads and the knee guard there. You can just see it protruding over the top of the sock, and obviously that's going to give him the protection and the stability he needs.
Check with the AFL this week and had it approved, so
Jeff White grabbed in that ruck contest, Bruce.
Salmon and Uze with a slight to do so. White at half back, such a promising player. There's a replay of the incident. Goes in short to Seacamp. Seacamp down the line. Schwarz the target. Big fly from Crow. Johnston read it well, but gang tackled in the end. Couldn't get rid of it. Rigoni. Schwarz was clever. Used Tingay. Tingay with pace now. Centering ball. Woewodin the target. It's a good kick. Got him. A couple of times they've been able to go forward with purpose.
Certainly is worrying signs for the Hawthorn defence, but it's interesting to see young Richard Vandenberg here. He lost contact with his opponent, he lost sight of the ball. He was looking at the Graham and Neitz duel, looking to chime in if he could, forgot about his man. It was a bit of a wobbly kick, and by the time he turned around and realised it wasn't going to Schwarz and Neitz and Graham, Woewodin had the mark.
And some great shepherding too by Farmer then on Tingay then, Jason.
Well, Neitz missed one from about this spot. Woewodin, similar angle. That looks a good kick. He's got it through. It's a goal.
Woewodin has kicked his first goal for the game, and Melbourne lead by 7 points. 14 minutes left in the first term. Now there's an infringement at the centre bounce.
Too many Hawthorn players in the square, Melbourne players in the square, Robbo.
Well, not an infringement, an indiscretion. Now 50-metre penalty.
Yeah, against Schwarz for running through.
Is that too technical, John, do you think? Because there was no way known that Salmon was going to get a goal from where he was, but now he's within about, 30 metres?
Well, they really don't give the umpire any discretion, Robbo. They simply say if there's somebody in that protected corridor that shouldn't be, in the protected radius that shouldn't be in there, and the umpire tells him to get out and he doesn't get out, or if he runs through when it's been cleared, they've got to pay a 50.
Yeah, he was trying to chase his man, John. Normally, if you're close to your opponent and you follow him through, it's okay, but there was just too much space between Schwarz and his opponent.
As long as he's close, it's okay.
A goal-kicking big man, Paul Salmon, but what a mongrel punt kick that was. That didn't spin anywhere.
That was an absolute shocker. It's funny, look, for a bloke that's kicked so many goals, he doesn't give you a great deal of confidence as he's running in to kick at the big fish.
7 times the leading goal kicker at Essendon. You wouldn't believe it, would you, after all of that?
Described as a helicopter punt.
Viney over to Leoncelli. Leoncelli at half back. So the Demons with the let off there. Vandenberg held his ground very well. That's good footy to Crow. Crow tries to bang it back in, but it's not a particularly good kick. Viney sits underneath it. Crummell puts the tackle on. Taylor pushes forward in the Woods direction. Back to Smith. Now his last kick was a shocker. That's a bit better to set a half forward. Front spot there with Chip, but a good defence there from Seacamp. Seacamp again. Tingay in half. Tingay started this match very well. They'll like that, the members. He did it right in front of them as he comes out the centre wing. Johnston off the ground. A bit of an experience, maybe.
Play a deck behind play. Looks like a Melbourne player in the hands of a couple of trainers.
Not sure who it is either. We'll check that up. Hay bangs it back in that direction. They're going to have to be careful here. They might have to stop all this in a moment as Longmuir comes forward. There's the injury in the box. You can see how close.
I think it's Seacamp, Bruce.
Seacamp, thanks, Dipper. Back to Tingay. And free kick coming to Schwarz against Crode.
And they have called for the stretcher as well, Bruce.
It happened when Tingay went half of that ball. He accidentally hit...
Here's the injury. By the way, it's a Crode free kick, but there's the injury to Seacamp. And there's...
It was his own man, Tingay, that ran into him.
So the support frame comes out, and he'll be coming from the ground. Seacamp, important play back there.
Just looks a little bit groggy, Seacamp. And as you said, Robert, it was his teammate. I mean, Tingay attacked the ball very, very ferociously. It was just an unfortunate clash that couldn't be helped.
Have another look here.
Now, Jason, just while we've got a bit of a lull, we talk about the interchange
She's
players.
just got him on the head, didn't it?
Right now, when this young man comes off the ground, Stephen Phoebe comes back on. It's all about matching up again.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they're going to miss him down back, but at least when you've got a quality player like Stephen Phoebe ready to step into the breach, you don't feel like you're missing out on too much. I'm actually surprised that Phoebe started on the bench in the first place, but it was a good matchup for Melbourne because Daniel Chick possesses a fantastic turn of foot. Seacamp is one of the quickest defenders for the Demons, so it'll be interesting to see how Steve Phoebe, who's no slouch himself, matches up on Chick for pace.
Put a neck brace on him. We just saw the collision with Tingay a moment ago.
Just seemed to contact the bony part of the hip, Bruce.
Here we go again. So Tingay keeping his eyes on it. Bang. Right on the top of the head. So let's hope that it's only a temporary thing and that he's fit and well and maybe even able to play some part.
The game of football's hard enough without your mate running into you, isn't it? Poor old Marcus Seacamp off the ground on stretcher.
They will miss him. That bit of height and pace back there makes him a very flexible player. Whereas, as good as Stephen Phoebe is, he's a little more one-dimensional because of his height.
And also, I think they'd prefer to see Stephen Phoebe further up the ground, not on the last line of defence.
Tingay's been good early, hasn't he? As Robbo said, his acceleration a moment ago, when he's able to bring the ball back into the corridor to Woewodin. So Seacamp going straight up the race.
Bruce, I was just going to ask John, when the ball went up to the area where Marcus Seacamp was being attended to by the two trainers, is there an onus on the umpire to come in a bit quicker than they did then?
No, normally the umpires won't stop the play until the trainers actually call for the stretcher, Robbo.
Okay.
So they'll wait until the trainers say, look, we've called for the stretcher. Once that happens, then the umpires will stop play.
Although, John, they had called for the stretcher, the trainers that were at the incident, and it must be difficult to stop it mid-play. I mean, they normally wait for there's a free kick, a marker, and out of bounds, don't they?
Yeah, unless it's going to interfere with play, that's right. Yep.
Well, Crode has restarted play, and Leckis is being advantaged here. The play on will. The opportunity for Angelo Leckis. And it must be a little breezy down there, Dipper, because that kick missed by a big margin.
Not at all. Just a shock of a kick. He had plenty of room in front of him, and obviously lack of talk by his teammates then. Absolutely no breeze down here at the moment.
Gee, I'm glad you're not my coach. You'd give me
Didn't he
nice
stick up
old
for him?
bake at quarter time. Tough man, Dipper. Now Walsh kicks the ball away from the back pocket area, out towards half-back flank, knocked in the direction of Tingay. A little left foot kick by that player, and it's going to work all right, especially after David Schwarz came in and intercepted the attempted hand pass by Trent Crode, forcing a boundary throw in. Some matchups early in the game up there at the top of the screen. And one of the most important ones that we saw at the start of the game, Shane Crawford on Farmer. It's not in their area just yet. It's kicked away there by Jonathan Hay and well marked at left half back there by Longmuir. Already had 2 or 3 possessions, so he's got into the game quite nicely. And we're about halfway through the first term. The Melbourne side lead by 1 goal. They're 13, Hawthorn are 7.
In short, to Matthew Phoebe. Between half-back and centre wing. Just controls it. Schwarz the target. Crode had a good run at him. Woods round the body, gets it down the line, but Stephen Phoebe's missed it in his first game back. Chick's hands okay. Colliker, well, he probably should have handballed. That's okay, though, because it gives Holland a chance to go back and have a shot. Now, he's got a couple of loose men, including Crumlett at centre-half forward, but he's within range, and he's decided to take the responsibility himself and have a shot.
It was just one of those difficult decisions to make. Does he go for the long handball, which means Holland has to kick on the run, or does he do a short pass, stop play, and let him settle and go back? That's what he decided to do, and hopefully Holland can finish off.
Reasonably tight angle. He's going to miss. He's pushed it across. Big fly coming in from Goalkicker, and it's a behind. So some ordinary kicking, really, from both ends of the ground when you think about it. Neitz missed an easy one. Salmon actually had a shocker. Leckers missed on the run, and Holland's kick there was not too impressive. Shanahan gets it in short and then gives it back to Stephen Phoebe.
Stephen Phoebe to kick the ball out towards the wing in the direction there of Johnson. Hacked out of there by Uze. And kick forward. Oh, gee, nearly well gathered there by Taylor. It was an awkward ball coming in. Looks to get past, succeeds in doing so, and then kicks the ball to within 30 metres, directly in front. Goalkicker flies. No, free kick to Walsh. Maybe being shepherded out of the marking contest.
I think it may have been given for contact from the front, Robbo.
Okay, well, the free kick to Walsh went out wide to Ingerson, back to Walsh. Good running support provided by Walsh, and then kicks it long, and with definition out in the area of Woewodin. Woewodin's kick, not too bad. Gathered here by Schwarz. Runs away from Crode. He's a big man, David Schwarz, and if he gets the front position, he's going to be hard to control.
Lost his boot there, sorry. Lost his boot there, Woewodin, in that little bit.
The Ox, as David Schwarz is known as, and that could be a Melbourne player in a few years. Interested onlooker, Demon fan. Salmon knocks it down, but not to the advantage of the Hawthorn side. Rigoni onto it quickly, kicks it to the forward 50. Farmer tries to shrug the tackle. That's legging by Crawford. Surely, no, he's been penalised.
Yeah, the tackle was legitimate. It just slid down the body, Robbo. And if we have a look at it now, you can see Shane Crawford's tackle is certainly fair at the start. Slides down the body. Really, it grabbed him there for sure. but the umpire on the left of screen wouldn't have been able to see that,
so, John,
that final legging.
What's the right decision, though? Which way should have it gone?
Well, if the umpire had seen what we saw, he had already paid holding the ball against Jeff Farmer before the legging. Yep.
Good.
Well, I can cope with all that, but surely you've got to give the bloke a chance to get rid of the football. And Jeff Farmer, well, he was irate, wasn't he? Football now on centre wing. Walsh having about his 5th possession early in the game. Up high was Crawford. At the back is Lord. Lord will go across the half-back line. Salmon has made good position. Marks looks to play on. It breaks down. Woewodin onto it quickly. Farmer leaves it for Tingay. Leckers does well to provide the pressure. In goes Lord. Tries to get it to Salmon. Salmon's hand pass. Chopped off by Walsh. Looks a determined young man, Peter Walsh. His high kick. Not well directed. Could be mopped up. No. Missed altogether by Graham. Oh, Viney. That's a free kick, isn't it?
Yeah, attempt to kick the ball, though. Certainly no attempt to trip.
Viney's kick into the centre of the ground. Gathered now, it's Leoncelli. He's well tackled. Ball spills for Goalkicker. In turn, Woewodin was a chance. Vandenberg with the football down underneath. Couldn't control it either. Phoebe, that's Matthew. He's going to get a free kick. No, it's against him.
Yep.
The shepherd by Viney was too high.
Certainly too high, Robbo. Just bumped to the head by Todd Viney, and the free kick given to Craig Trelevin. Certainly contact with the head, and certainly a warranted free kick.
Trelevin at centre wing. To half forward, front spot Chick, unable to, handball okay there to Tingay, came from McDonald to centre wing, Johnston missed it, Trelevin, left foot, back but straight into the arms of Shanahan. So some poor kicking here, and Paul Salmon's made a couple of errors in this match. Leoncelli, that's his trademark, running through the centre, long kick to fall forward. Neitz attacks, clever to Farmer. Farmer quickly onto the boot, and the Wiz has kicked it.
Well, that man on screen has kicked 9 of Melbourne's 42 goals this year, so still around about a 20% production there for Jeffrey Farmer. Strong play by Ingerson from centre half back. Hand pass out wide to White. He's a skillful player, Jeff White. That left foot kick. Oh, well done. Gee, it looked like a training drill, didn't it? Bringing the ball through the middle of the ground. And the big man, Jeff White, the skillful left foot pass has given Neitz his 3rd chance in about 12 or 13 minutes of play in the first term. 1 goal, 1 against his name. Kicking from about 30 metres, so distance no problem. Let's watch how he drops the ball this time. He gets it long, and just offline. So disappointing results there for David Neitz. 1 goal, 2. Probably could have 3 goals against his name.
Mark Doran down there. What's with Marcus Seacow, Mark?
Well, Bruce, I've just come out of the Melbourne rooms and it looks a lot better than it first appeared. The ambulance men have been in there looking at him. He's regained consciousness and has full movement back. He did cop a big blow to the head, as you saw. His neck's a bit stiff at the moment. He may have some tests tonight. Won't come back on, but there's no major damage there.
Thanks, Mark. That's going to be good news for a lot of people. Gee, not good signs for the Hawks here. They made a mess out of that. Mark Graham, who's been outpointed by David Neitz early in this match.
Just no one upfield when he looked to kick long. There was no one there, and he, in the end, had to hang on to it.
So Neitz has let them off a bit here. Salmon never got a crack at it. Quick kick out of it from Taylor to centre wing. Ingerson's got it. So the matchups are going Melbourne's way at the moment. Ingerson's doing the job on Holland. Neitz on Graham. Farmer on Crawford. Schwarz being hurled by Crode, admittedly. Shanahan presenting himself in the centre of the ground. Chip kick. Neitz is a target. Salmon front spot. That's going to help the big fish. That's a courageous mark. Just wonder at 33, coming back from Perth, hard game last week, they would have had to have given him an easy week, wouldn't they? He's just started a bit shabbily, the fish.
He has, but I don't think it's been through soreness or fatigue. He's just made a couple of decision errors with the handball, and I'm glad he kicked it that time.
McCabe to Crode. Crode did pretty well. He was off balance. He got it almost to 50. Lord and Walsh. Shanahan again off the ground. Colliker leading this race as they go towards the boundary line. Still Colliker. Tapped it back. Not in. Boundary throw in. The Demons lead 3-2 to the Hawks 1-2. I thought it was Ross Stevenson for a moment. It looked a bit like he's a great Hawthorn fan, but from 3AW Breakfast, but it's not. I'm sure he's here somewhere. Ball to be won here. Harford was eased out of it by Rigoni. Off the ground there by Taylor. Might be fortunate. Leckers kept his eyes on it. Schwarz was in hard. Taylor went off the ground. Vandenberg went off the ground. Tingay attacked hard. Good contest here. Rigoni goes to ground. Holland, it sits up. Can't quite get a handball away. He held onto it for a long time. Play on called. Interesting decision. Tingay overran it. Leckers outnumbered. Just got a little kick to it near the line. Tingay, probably if he had known there were Melbourne players all around him, would have kept it in. It's out of play.
4 Hawthorn players went for the ball then. 1 person got it and 3 went on. There should be a couple of shepherds there or plenty of talking. At the moment, the Hawks are sort of seem to be running on but not sharing the ball.
Do you know Richard Vandenberg, Jason?
I do, yeah.
I tell you what, he's a tough little
Oh, he's
customer,
hard
isn't
at it. He won't take a backward step, Rob. I can guarantee you that.
He had a tackle on David Schwarz. He must be giving away centimetres a few minutes ago, and he just had a bit of a dip there at one of the Melbourne boys, and by golly, if he hits you, I think you'll stay hit. Barlow's onto the ground.
Aaron Lord off.
And the ball on centre wing. Boundary throw in. Ruck contest. In front was White. Gee, he's right there where all the action is. Kick forward there by Trelevin. Left foot kick just cleaned up there by Ingerson at half back away from Holland. And the boundary umpire will throw it in once again.
You'll find Jeff White off the ground, Robbo. We've got young Ottens in the ruck at the moment. And Salmon's coming off now for the Hawks.
Thanks, Dipper. And obviously to give the boys a rest towards the end of the quarter. And the ball spills now. It's Leoncelli. His kick is, well, about 4 out of 10. I'm sure he would have liked to have done a little bit better than that. He's forced a boundary throw in between wing and left half forward favouring the Demons. They lead 3-2 to 1-2. 5 minutes left in the term.
Both teams finding it hard to score, but the Hawks particularly struggling here. Leoncelli had it smothered by Taylor. Rigoni running out of room in the end. Boundary throw in, half it onto him. Match so far hasn't had a lot of rhythm to it, has it? Not a lot of flow. Hawthorn just hanging on. Here's a smother from Taylor across the leg of Leoncelli. Ottens and O'Farrell, the number 2 ruckman. They'll come off the bench for a lot of the night unless they can impact when they're on there in a big way. And again, it's going to be a bounce. Leoncelli, good player. 24, there's Brian Sheen, Justin Schmidt and John Harvey. 24 years of age, Leoncelli. So came in as an AFL player as a mature footballer. Handball was okay from Harford. Taylor's little kick, but not much happening. Phoebe, tackle on Ingerson was a bit high. And might have hurt himself there too, Barlow, I think. hurt his wrist, and Ingerson's got a free kick at half-back. He's had Holland under control so far. Just pops it up to centre wing. Crode was the big flyer. Handball was terrific. Came from Woewodin to his lookalike Tingay. Tingay to centre half forward. Farmer works to the front. Crawford with him. Fantastic duel, that one. A real one-on-one contest. Harford getting back. Pressure on now. Quick hands. The Hawks through Taylor eventually. Taylor got it from Colliker. Goes back to McDonald. His kick inside. Back to Woods. Handball okay to Vandenberg, and Vandenberg at half-back kicks to centre wing.
Well, it's 2-on-1 favouring the Demons, and the disciplined play came from Leoncelli. The knock has created the chance here for Rigoni. He feeds it wide for Todd Viney. Gee, their blocking of the Hawthorn attempted tacklers has been quite sensational, Melbourne. What about the in and unders here? Very close to the boundary line, and skillfully done by the Demons to keep it alive. Eventually not clear for a boundary throw-in back there by Trent Crode, 50 metres from the Melbourne goal. Well, they're getting into it now. 20 plays 8. 3 minutes left in the first term. 50 metres from the Demons goal. And the ruck work being done here by Ottens and Brett O'Farrell. Kick forward by Leoncelli. That's his 7th kick, and taken through for a rush behind. His 8th kick, actually, taken over there by Mark Graham for a behind to the Demons. So 3 goals 3 to 1 goal 2. And the Hawks just having a few problems getting the ball past the centre line. Not feeding any real chances to their key forwards. Gee, this kick-in is, well, very poor. Tingay goes back here to Robertson. Robertson, flying shot at goal by Russell Robertson, misses to the left, and the Demons left lamenting a couple of good chances for them to add to their goal tally late in the first term.
They certainly have had a couple of let-offs, the Hawks. Mark Graham, very much a confidence player, and that's reflected in the way he kicks out as well.
Crawford short to Crode, who's been the one defender that's had a good first term, hasn't he? He's done the job. He's now on Robertson after being on Schwarz. Goes long, centre wing, O'Farrell outnumbered. Ottens came at the back. Tingay pushed the ball towards the line. Lekas there, worried out of it in the end. Well done, Robertson. Back to Tingay. Tingay was looking for Johnston, but out on the fall, and a Hawthorn kick through Taylor. Taylor at half-back. Gives his all, this fellow, every week.
Melbourne player limping just off to Richard Taylor's left. It might be
Russell Robertson.
Yep. Thanks, Dipper. So undecided here, Taylor. Hawks need a goal before quarter time. It's a poor kick. It's a terrible kick, and Viney's got it. Some of the field kicking's been unimpressive so far tonight. Viney getting plenty of it. 7th disposal coming up to Shanahan. Shanahan on his non-preferred side. That's a very bad kick too. And Crode's got it. So right now, if you'd switch the telly on for about 2 minutes, you wouldn't see the game at its finest. It's better than this, I can assure you of that.
Got to take a punt and move the ball on the other side of the ground, surely.
Crode's kick, O'Farrell, and interfering with one another there, O'Farrell and also Crummell, and a boundary throw-in. So it's just flat, isn't it? It's 22-8, and it's a flat spot for the moment.
They've attempted to move the ball on this side of the ground with no success. Isn't it obvious that you'd go across the other side to try something different?
I think they certainly need to change their tactics, because it's not working at the moment. The field kicking has been poor, and maybe a few short changes of direction are in order.
Walsh's kick nearly marked by Johnston. No, it's out on the full. So a free kick to Hay for the Hawks. He's behind the wing. 22 plays 8. Goals for Melbourne, kicked by Farmer, Neitz and Woewodin, and the goal kicker for Hawthorn is Daniel Chick. Gee, they've been few and far between. Joel Smith gets it back to Harford. Harford has been ducked after he kicked the ball.
Contact to the head, Robbo, so it'll be relayed down to where the ball landed.
Against Longmuir. So the kick being taken here by Hawthorn's goal kicker so far, Daniel Chick. Looking to go into the pocket. Waits the kick reasonably well, but set up for Trelevin. Taken away by Uze. Uze's left foot pass down towards the wing. Not taken by Johnston. Lekas goes back to Hay. Hay's kick lands the ball at half forward. Knocked away. Opportunity for Chick again. He tries to hack it out of mid-air and couldn't control it, of course. Free kick out of bounds on the full.
And I'll just say this, Robbo, worrying signs for Hawthorn. They had perhaps two of the slowest players in the team, Treleaven and Holland, making leads against two quicker opponents. They couldn't possibly pinpoint a pass into the forward 50.
It was a bit depressing, actually, from here, wasn't it? Early in this match to see that. Phoebe. Dixon may be a big loss by the end of this night. As it gets to half-back. Demons holding it up. And again, a ball up. So Melbourne are 3-4. Farmer, Neitz and Woewodin the goal scorers, and Hawthorn 1-2 through Chick. There's Ottens. Luke Ottens in his first season from Glenelg. Daniel Harford played plenty of footy at 21. O'Farrell out of the air. Tingay. Taylor trying to claim it. Not McDonald held on to. No free kick. Still no free kick. Taylor probably taken a bit high. Pushes back. Smith eased under it by Longmuir, who got rid of him a bit too easily, and Longmuir's got it at half-back. Kicks to centre wing. Robertson the target. McCabe with a bit of courage came across, but it's left Melbourne with numbers. Crawford's quick to get across. Did pretty well. Able to get a left foot, then taken out of it by Johnston. Ball at the boundary line and a boundary throw in.
That was a crucial move by Crawford to take the bit between the teeth. He left his player in attack because it was virtually 4-on-1. Melbourne players streaming towards the 50-metre line. If they got possession, he could have just about banked on a certain goal to the Demons.
It was the last man standing, wasn't he? He did the job. Front spot, O'Farrell. Hay, back to O'Farrell. Quick kick around the corner. Smith held up there by Longmuir. They've had control over their forwards, the Melbourne defence so far. Coming in crudely there was Barlow. Not much harm in all of that. And the umpires are quick to come in. But patchy opening term. I don't think Neil Danaher would be absolutely thrilled with what he's seen, but they've got a good lead. There are a couple in front, and Hawthorn already look as if they don't have a whole lot of options up forward. You just wonder where the Hawks are going to manufacture a few things from. That's Kenny Judge's problem at this stage. At quarter time, it's Melbourne 3-4 over Hawthorn 1-2. Friday night football, it's quarter time, and the D's had the best of it over the Hawks. They lead by 3-4 to 1-2, so it's 22-8 at quarter time. Neil Danaher, who had such a successful run as coach of Melbourne in his opening year, taking them to 4th place. They're 1-2 so far, 12th going in, making his point at quarter time and pointing the finger, wanting more from his team. And here are the groups here at Hawthorn. Got the ruck set up with Salmon and O'Farrell and the midfielders. Peter German there with Aaron Lord and a few of the others, including Daniel Chick and the forward setup. So Hawthorn with a fair bit of thinking to do. The Demons lead at quarter time. Mitre 10, a reminder about this terrific competition. We've got a major competition and also a weekly prize. You've got the opportunity to rub shoulders with the biggest names in football at the Brownlow Medal, the Grand Final, etc. And also a $10,000 Mitre 10 gift voucher. The weekly prize of an autographed and framed action shot of your favourite Club 10 superstar with $1,000 to spend at Mitre 10. Now to enter, call 1902 555 628 and tell us who was Melbourne's 1998 best and fairest player and captain. That's last year. Who was the captain of the D's? And that bloke won the best and fairest for Melbourne. That's the Mitre 10 competition for this year and also for tonight. We'll be keeping you going with that all through the year. Dipper, it was a flat quarter from the Hawks' point of view, wasn't it?
It certainly was, and that's what Ken Judge told his players. He thought they were very, very lazy. We had 2 or 3, 4 players going for the same ball instead of one guy going for it, other guys shepherding. Plenty of talk. Which is not happening on the footy field, just ask his players. That's the simple things of football. And around the forward line, and no guys giving any leads. It's just standing there and waiting for the ball to come to them. And for Melbourne, and Neil Danaher did tell his players, make sure that Hawthorn don't clog up the middle. We need to win the middle, and also just to keep running and running, because they can run the Hawthorn off their legs, because they think they're very weary after that long trip last week.
Thanks, Dipper. Start of the second quarter of the Melbourne Cricket Ground, Friday night footy. Hawthorn to the left of screen, Melbourne to the main scoreboard end, and the D's have made a good start. Salmon went early there to try and stop the white run. Viney was able to get through too easily and then kicks the ball to the forward pocket. Crawford belts it away and then Johnston belted it back. Graham towards the line and a boundary throw in.
Bruce, some big possession gatherers individually for the Demons. Tingay 8 kicks, Leoncelli 8 kicks, Walsh 7, and for the Hawks Treleaven 6, Taylor 6, and Crawford 5, Trent Crode 5.
Boundary throw in, left half forward, Salmon, Schwarz, Neither of them really able to get at it. Hay just poked it forward. Ball sits, half its handball, okay. Barlow did pretty well actually, had nowhere to go, was able to get it to Leckers. Hawthorn go forward with a bit of purpose towards full forward. Opportunity for Chick, he's read this beautifully and kicked his second. It's what the match needed and more importantly what the Hawks wanted. It's the start they had to get.
Well, it's amazing. I mean, Melbourne, you would have to think, had the better of the first term, but they didn't get their just desserts on the scoreboard, and with such a low score at quarter time, Hawthorn have got exactly what they were looking for early in the second.
And this is one of the jewels we looked at earlier when the Seacamp went off. Chick has a lot of pace. He's the player I'd like to see up in front of goal to try and use that pace. We commented that Holland and Treleaven led for a ball late in that first quarter, and they're not the sort of players you want leading out from the square. He is the sort of guy you want, and very quick to maintain his balance and jump straight on the loose ball.
Dipper, their benches at the start of the second
Yeah, for
term.
Hawks, Robbo, we've got Jonathan Rodbrum, Brett O'Farrell, Johnny Hassel and Aaron Lord.
Well, we'll catch up with the Demons bench for the start of the second term shortly. White too early, much too early. Viney is having an impact around the centre bounce. Hand pass to Woewodin. Woewodin's kick beautifully marked by Neitz. He started positively. On the other hand, Mark Graham is struggling.
Just in relation to that early jump by White, Robbo, if he had made contact with Paul Salmon, I believe the umpire would have paid a free kick to Salmon. But
he nearly jumped clean over his head.
Yeah,
John.
that's right. That's right. If Paul had made it so as there was some contact, I think he would have got a free kick.
Well, White, certainly a jumping jack at the centre bounces, but we're watching David Neitz going for goal number 2. And he continues.
1 goal 3 now, Robbo.
With his inaccuracies, he's kicked 4 goals 9 for the year so far.
And there's Jeff White jumping right over Paul Salmon. And,
That's an incredible jump.
Interestingly, Jace, one of the umpires was just talking to Todd Viney. So maybe that was the issue.
Hey, Crawford, gee, that was close, but McCabe's got it. Yes, Neitz a bit of a worry. He's a worry for Hawthorn because he's such a good player, but he's a worry for Melbourne in that he just hasn't been able to kick straight. McCabe might have missed an opportunity or two here.
Harford was all on his own, about 30 metres up the ground.
Barlow's got it. Pushed it along. Schwarz wants to use Walsh, hasn't been able to. Worried out of it by Holland. Crummel's handball good to Dutchy. Holland pushes forward into about 50. Smith attacking at Uze. It comes back to Woods. Woods' kick. This will be close. It's a goal. It's come from nowhere. Tony Woods.
Well, very happy player, Tony Woods, getting the Hawks' 3rd goal, and the Melbourne bench dip.
Lucky Ottens, Russell Robertson, Scotty Chisholm, and of course Marcus Seacamp still in the rooms.
Well, that's a better contest at the centre bounce. And the ball gathered here by Leckers, tried to get the hand pass away. Matthew Phoebe may have been looking there for Tingay, didn't succeed in getting the ball to that player. Richard Taylor chips in.
Good shot.
Defensive 50. Well done, Jason. Richard Taylor's kick down towards half forward Crummel. Well, perhaps he should have taken that mark. And chipping in is Treleaven, his kick across his left shoulder. Ingerson and Holland. Back goes Holland. He's still in the contest, looking for the free kick. Well, 3 Melbourne players there to provide the tackle. Eventually Holland being penalised for not trying to move the ball on.
It did look as though he was held, but I think he was held on the boundary line side of that contest, so umpire unable to see it.
Ingerson to Longmuir. Demons to go down the ground. Phoebe with the ball. He's going to run through centre wing. That's Matthew.
And kicks the ball long to half forward. Well done at the back by McCabe. Well, he's given a free kick away. It was a great contest.
Yeah, that did look a bit tough. If the player's prime objective is to spoil, then that's legitimate. And that did look like his prime objective was simply to spoil.
Anthony McDonald with the free kick. He pops it to the goal square, needs to use his body, and he's got it again against Graham. He just stood toe-to-toe with him that time, decided not to lead, and actually just felt him out of it, didn't he? Felt him out of the contest.
And that's very disappointing from the Hawthorn defence. It's obvious that David Neitz is the stronger player. They chip the ball up, but for a ball to stay in the air for so long and no one else to come and force a contest and in a congested area to take a chest mark is poor. Just see how the Melbourne defenders there kept the Melbourne attackers, kept the Hawthorn defenders away from the contest and allowed Neitz a one-on-one.
Well, surely he'll go here. He has.
Well, we're back watching David Neitz, and Mark Graham, who is his immediate opponent, went absolutely berserk there because he feels as though he didn't get any assistance from his fellow defenders. Back there was Treleaven and also Jonathan Hay. Play goes on at the centre bounce. and Matthew Phoebe dispossessed. Still can't get the kick away. Collicker, his kick ineffective. Viney sets it up for Walsh. Walsh's left foot kick. Longmuir's a chance to run onto it, and he did well. And the tackle wasn't bad either by Leckers. Well done, Angelo Leckers.
Angelo Leckers, great tackle. He was taken on and won it.
Leckers sets it up. 40 metres from the Hawthorn goal. Punched away by Ingerson. Crumbs gathered by Taylor. Can't control the footy. In goes the tough man of AFL footy, Todd Viney. But away goes the talented Daniel Chick. He's got 3. 3 goals out of 4 for Daniel Chick. And the Hawks, it's going to be a struggle. I don't think either side have got the dominance so far where they might run away with the game. It's going to be a very, very interesting tussle all night.
And Daniel Chick just swooping on the ball that comes out of this contest. He looks like the man that Hawthorn's hopes are going to rely on tonight. That's making the most, again, of a half opportunity. They seem to be working harder for their goals, but they're still right in this game.
It's been good, Chick. Have a look at this as he streams away and kicks his 3rd. So he's got 3/4 of Hawthorn's goals tonight. Shanahan's off the ground for the Demons.
Yes, Bruce, he just took himself off there. We'll just check on what's going on.
And Stephen Phoebe's no longer playing on Daniel Chick.
I think he's had a bit of a hammy problems, hasn't he, Shanahan? So we'll look at that. Collicker out of the centre. Hawks having a good turn. They're within a kick again. Chisholm there with Crummell. Still Chisholm, who's on the ground. Crummell couldn't quite get the kick clear of Stephen Phoebe. Back to Scott Chisholm, the prince of the pockets as he dubbed himself. White in the centre, McCabe in late. White was always going to take that. Defensive side of centre. Some of the matchups happening here tonight. 4-5 to 4-2. Stakes pretty high, as they so often are in AFL footy. Bad kick. Crowd read it beautifully. Tucks it under his arm. Runs a long, long way. Belts the ball to half forward. Front spot Uze did very well. Terrific tackle. The Hawks have got a taste for it suddenly. You can feel the game's changed. Graham up forward. Little one running and bouncing. Chisholm trying to get back. Chick, or rather Smith. Smith was harder at it. Goes back inboard. Chick's been clever all night. Pushed off it by Ingerson. Back to Uze. Uze can't find a way. Slow handball was good enough. Longmuir takes them on. Ducks his head. Gets a little handball away. Rigoni can't. Graham was good. Taylor's going to kick a goal. Is he? He's just missed. It was good stuff.
That is fantastic pressure from the Hawthorn forwards. That's what the game's all about. When you get the ball and you're attacking 50, you've got to keep it in there and make it as tough for the opposition to run it out as possible. That was great tackling.
And I think it was important, Jason, we're having a look at Shanahan being attended to by one of the trainers. They did keep it alive.
What about Smith, eh?
But I thought Graham was good in this contest.
Well, the move's been made,
yep.
Robbo. Jonathan Hay's gone on to David Neitz and Mark Graham's gone forward.
Well, you can duck your head when you're playing football like Mark Graham has been in the early part of this game, but he did well when moved forward. Todd Viney from half back to Longmuir. Longmuir's kick gets good distance out wide. Schwarz, gee, nearly controlled that footy. Now he could have quite easily been penalised. Trying to keep it there. Woewodin goes back. Johnston confronted by Salmon. Maybe a professional free kick. No, not forthcoming. McCabe kicks it away. It's still inside the field of play, taken over by Woewodin as the scoreline shows Melbourne leading by 2 points. 4-5 to 4 goals 3 with 13 minutes left in the second term.
And more bad news for Melbourne. Robbo, Shanahan's done his hamstring again, so it might be another 3 weeks before we see him play again.
Sorry, Dip. Schwarz all over the top of Salmon. No whistle. Viney gets it out wide. Kicked away by Leoncelli. White's on his own and should kick a goal. Jeff White goes and misses.
Gee, if he had have kicked out, I would have said there is no justice in this game.
We always
Salmon
know
should have got a free kick at the throw-in.
We always know when there's a missed Hawthorn free kick because Jason falls off his chair.
Well, this is a free kick, surely.
Yeah, for sure.
And then even worse when it lands in your opponent's hands.
Crawford to kick it away for the Hawks. It's going to go close to the line, and yes, you have got it over, Jason, just in front of David Neitz, as we see the sorry sight of the hamstring sufferer, we think, Jamie Shanahan, and perhaps to sit out the rest of the game. 30 plays 27, Melbourne leads. Salmon to knock it down. Not quite clear enough. There's still a contest here between Leoncelli and Trelevin. Leoncelli does reasonably well. Woewodin and Vandenberg. Matthew Phoebe too high against Collicker, and the free kick will go to the Melbourne player.
At half forward, Goalkicker in his first year looks a good type. He's an athlete. Kick to the pocket to Schwarz. Got him. Gee, there's Vandenberg and Schwarz again.
Trent Crowd hopelessly lost there, and Schwarz made lead. He took his eye off the play. Crawford tried to step in and put the lead off, but he kept going, and in the end he was 10 yards clear.
Schwarz taking it on the chest, and then Vandenberg. Now, he is a thumping kick, Schwarz, and he's got the distance and missed. So the D's, that was a difficult shot. You're probably only going to get 3 out of 10 of those, but the D's have let the Hawks off the hook a bit tonight. 4-7 to 4-3. It's been a good quarter for Hawthorn. They're getting to more contests, aren't they? Just feel as if they've picked up the tempo.
Big bunch of players deep in the centre here.
Salmon right in the centre of those, but he decided Crawford to go to Hay. Now Crawford's running on for him, but I think Woewodin's closed that gap. Good view there from behind. See what's in front of Hay. He bangs it as hard and as high as he can. Salmon's going to be his target. Crowd to help him out. Viney, who's been terrific. Back to White, who's been very good in his first game this season, to set a half forward. Well done, Farmer. I think he got across in front of Hay and defensively belted the ball to the line, and it'll be a boundary throw-in. Now, Schwarz off the ground, Robertson back on. That's what happened in the opening term, but a bit later in the first quarter. So just a change there, Russell Robertson to come back on. Melbourne lead by 4 points.
Well, after the first term, you wouldn't really think that if the Hawks can get another goal, they'd be in front in this match, and that's the situation. Crawford from the left back pocket kicks it out wide. Good mark taken by Robertson. Only on the ground for a matter of seconds. Kicks it into the centre of the ground. Uze trying to get past. Hand pass, not too bad. McDonald goes back in the direction here of White. Went back onto his left side. Then put Woewodin under a deal of pressure. In goes Nick Holland looking for the free kick. The umpire will come in and ball it up about 50 metres from the Melbourne goal.
Once again, a great tackling effort from Hawthorn. They're not trying to play pretty football. They are just making it a very honest contest, and they are harassing the Melbourne player every time they get the ball.
Only 8 goals kicked in the match so far. We're deep into the second term. Johnston, quick kick, well marked by Crawford. Looking to play on, sets it up for Hay, get run down by Farmer, but he was able to get his kick away, not really to the advantage of his team. Back goes Matthew Phoebe, tackled by Goalkicker. Ball spills for Walsh. He looks a very, very cool customer. He's kicking towards the middle of the ground, and White dispossessed. Ball there with McDonald, couldn't break away. Woewodin goes in, but Vandenberg's a terrier, and he holds it up, much to the delight of his teammate there, Richard Vandenberg, very much an in and under player. And the ball will be bounced about 65, 70 metres from the Melbourne goal. They lead this match 4-7 to 4-3 halfway through the second term. The knockaway, Leoncelli pounces on it. Left foot kick, quickly towards full forward. Punched away from Neitz by Hay. Tingay dispossessed. Well done by Barlow. Farmer and Crawford. Still Farmer and Crawford. Ball spills to the back. Johnson tackled by Crawford. Still Crawford with Johnston. He's got to be penalised, doesn't he? The umpire swallowed the whistle. Tingay goes after it again to Woewodin. A double spin out of trouble. Matthew Phoebe's kick across the line. Oh, Tony Woods not able to gather the football. In goes Salmon, the veteran, up against Guy Rigoni. Viney dispossessed. In goes Salmon again. Tries to get it to Treleaven. It spills to the back of the pack. Graham missed his target, which was Woods. Walsh is there. Very determined Walsh. He goes after the football. Close to the line on centre wing. Gathers and runs away. No, he doesn't. Tony Woods just got hold of his jumper. And Stephen Phoebe in there to help out. And he'll clear for the Demons.
Down the line, Salmon's going to be pretty tired after that huge effort a moment ago. He's got some time now to be constructive. He's lifted the big fish, kicks it back to centre wing. Crummel's attack was okay. Phoebe tapped it out cleverly enough to Leoncelli, free kick. Advantage given to the Hawks. Taylor's away. He's 60 metres from goal. Centering kick. He wants a mark from somewhere. Where will it come from? It's Uze.
Gee, that was a poor kick from Taylor into the forward line. That all led towards him, and he basically kicked it deep over the head and gave the smaller players no chance there.
Plays tall, Uze, and plays really well. Kick to White, coming in from the side check. White pushes it down in front. Clever enough to Longmuir. Hawthorn able to put the pressure on. Leoncelli backward of the centre circle. A little one over the top. Running on for him is Matthew Phoebe. Matthew Phoebe delivers to full forward. Good kick. gives Neitz a bit of a chance, pushed out of it, Vandenberg to get back, he's got Salmon wide, he's also got the goal line, and that's where he goes. Terrific contest at the moment. And
well, it mightn't be pretty, Bruce, but gee, it's hectic. The pressure is full on all parts of the ground, and it is a very exciting contest at the moment.
A moment ago, Hawthorn threw Crawford initially, and then Salmon took the ball from the back pocket to half forward, I reckon, without actually kicking the footy. They just hassled, didn't they? They hassled.
Just watching the players warming up on the interchange bench. A tall Jonathan Robran, two smalls, Aaron Lord and Johnny Hassel.
Very smart player, this man, Crawford. What a quarter of footy I reckon he's played in this one tonight. Goes short to McCabe. McCabe in the back pocket.
Well, McCabe was able to settle and get good distance out in the direction there of Collicker with Matthew Phoebe. Collicker trying to get the front posse, but he's harassed there by Matthew Phoebe. And eventually, not a bad result for either side, perhaps. Boundary throw-in will take place in front of the Great Southern Stand. The interested onlookers, Friday night football at the MCG. The Demons of the Hawks. Presently, Hawthorn in 5th position, and the Demons, they've won one game. They're in 12th position. Richard Taylor not able to gather and run away with the footy, so umpire Brian Sheehan will bounce. 32 plays 27. Daniel Chick has kicked 3 of Hawthorn's 4 goals, and David Neitz has kicked 2 of Melbourne's 4 goals. They are our umpires for this evening's match. Experienced campaigner Brian Sheehan. Johnny's done a fair bit of footy now.
Yeah, he's showing it too. He's losing a bit of hair, Robbo.
Paul Salmon to do the ruck work. Taylor. Beautiful punch by Salmon, wasn't it? Taylor swoops on it, kicks it in towards the forward pocket area, knocked away by Ingerson for another boundary throw-in. So very good negative work by both sides. Not much productivity as far as goals kicked is concerned. Only 8 in the match so far. 7.5 minutes left in the second term.
Mark Graham's now been put into onto the field here, like in the ruck area, and we've got Jonathan Hay back at Neitz in the goal square.
Salmon, thanks Dip, front spot. He laid it down. Smith went without it. Walsh has got it, hugging the line. It bounces back to Graham, who Dipper just told us about to fall forward. Harford, terrific effort by Uze. Back to Chick, hassled out of it that time. Harford was good. Uze was probably better again. Boundary throwing, well done. Uze, a couple of efforts there were terrific. Had a wonderful season last year. Very good crowds built up. And here's Uze's and Harford, who both take your hat off to both of them in that contest. Harford trying to help Chick out to get a goal. White down to Walsh. Handball over the top. Longmuir was very, very good. And then confidently. That's good play to Phoebe. Phoebe's kick gives Woewodin the run of it, and also Leoncelli. Ball bounced well for Trelevin. Trelevin goes back. Finds his captain. Crawford sits on it. Back to Trelevin. He's under the hammer. Trelevin has to handball. Down the line towards Graham. Graham's handball okay. Vandenberg. They haven't done particularly well here, Hawthorn. It comes back to McDonald. McDonald in board to Farmer. Farmer wanted Crawford to come at him harder so he could take him on. Crawford wasn't going to do that. Farmer kicks to the pocket. The target Neitz. It always seems to be Neitz. Second go. Third go for Neitz. They're all over the top of him. Comes back to Johnston. Johnston hooks it back across the face of goal. Big fly from Tingay. Ball comes at the back. Crawford. Little kick off the ground was clever. It finds Taylor is away.
Taylor, defensive 50-metre line. Good kick by that player. Has found Holland. Holland looking to play on. They have a chance here, the Hawks. The kick goes in the direction of Salmon. He's got a little bit of space and he kicks to half forward. Well done. Good vision. And finishes nicely with Crummell.
But there's one thing that Paul Salmon does do very, very well for a big bloke. When he has the ball in general play, he disposes of it particularly well. He wasn't afraid to hold on to it. He just had a look at all the options. He saw Crummell on his own in the middle of the ground, and now there's a set shot just inside the 50 directly in front.
Well, if he does kick this goal, the Hawks will be in front. It looks good. It's a goal to Crummell.
Hawks in front for the first time tonight, deep into the second quarter. And there's a free kick for the second time tonight, and this time it goes to Melbourne. Infringement in the centre square, obviously. Jeff White. It's 5-3 to 4-8, so Hawthorn lead by a solitary point. Neitz forced to go very wide here with Hay. Hay still got hold of him. Goes back to Phoebe. It's Matthew Phoebe. Lord onto him. Phoebe hooks it back to centre half forward, and Robertson quick enough. He's a handy player, this fellow. I haven't seen a whole lot of him, but he's just 20, averages a goal a match, and he's come on for Schwarz a couple of times in this match, and he's been useful.
Good centering kick back into the attacking part of the ground, and you just wonder if the Demons have become a little bit one-dimensional. They know Neitz is winning his position, but they can't kick it to him at every single opportunity. It becomes too predictable, and the Hawthorn defence is starting to realise that.
Take a good big kick. He's outside 50. Angle about 45 degrees. Not quite going to make it, and Farmer's taken a chest mark and plays on, and the Wizard has kicked the goal.
Ten goals out of 44 this season so far for Jeffrey Farmer. Very much a productive small player for the Demons. Kicking goals again. White up high. A little too early again, but away goes Lord. Gets it to Harford. Harford took plenty of time. Kicked it towards full forward. Chick and Longmuir. And Longmuir, free kick.
Free kick against Daniel Chick for holding in that marking contest, Robbo.
Well, big job for Longmuir. Daniel Chick has kicked 3 of Hawthorn's 5 goals. And the responsibility for manning up on Daniel Chick at the moment is with Troy Longmuir. Described beautifully there by Jason Dunstall. The ball with Tingay in towards the centre. Finds Walsh. He's knocked up getting the footy. 13 possessions. Uze made something out of it. He was going to be tackled. He shrugged it. Kicked it to half forward. Everyone missed it. Back there is Crow. Standing manfully. No. Well done, McDonald. Kicked away by McCabe. Might work all right. Again by Crawford for the safety of the line. The Hawks may breathe easy in that situation. It looked a promising attack by the D's.
Gee, that was a great tackle by Anthony McDonald. Crow had a bit of time. He didn't like his options on this side of the ground, so he turned the other way, and that's a fantastic tackle to really put them under pressure.
And Paul Salmon going down the full forward where Mark Grove's now taking the ruck.
Dipper, Robertson over the top. Inside 50, McDonald, Smith, he'll have to get rid of it. He's caught up. It was interesting a moment ago. Crow saw Salmon was the option. Now, I think he realised if he didn't get it directly to the big fellow, if it hit the ground, there might have been a problem. Therefore, he went the other way.
And one other thing I did notice before, the last contest between Crawford and Farmer, Crawford tried to take a big jump over him to really make a statement and let him know that he's there.
And he's in it again, Crawford, with Woewodin, who pushes it out to Stephen Phoebe, who again pushes, and that's a boundary throw-in. Rigoni there. Colliker. Less than 3 minutes to go, 38-33. That's what Jason Dunstall was talking about a moment ago. He did get very high, and the foot was almost in the face, wasn't it? As Taylor belts it down the line. Smith front spot. Walsh has really done the job on him. Uze always seems to have a bit of extra time. That time, he kicks it straight to Taylor, who's had plenty of it. He's at half-back. He is a possession gatherer. He accumulates. Inboard, gets it to Hassel having a run. Hassel to centre half forward. Crummel and Holland. Holland went too early. Free kick, obviously. And that's one area that Holland hasn't been able to have an impact. That's in the marking. Viney with the advantage paid.
Certainly is a chance here for the Demons if they can just keep possession of the ball. Viney forced to kick, goes long. Neitz had 3 grabs at it. Barlow. Still Barlow. Johnson just about rewarded with a free kick there. Taylor. Handball in the direction there of Lord. More determination there by Matthew Phoebe. Barlow hurriedly down towards the wing. It may sit. It bounces high. A little tap. Very well done in the finish. This is Crummel for Hawthorn. Left foot kick. Not really what he would have desired, I'm sure. Uze again. Uze's kick is much better. Sets it up here for Longmuir. Longmuir in towards half forward, but well controlled by Crode. He's a dashing player, isn't he? Trent Crode from the middle of the ground. Kicks it in the direction of and finds Nick Holland on this occasion. Only metres from goal. Handball away. Hawks will get a certainty here. Crummel from the square, and they are back in front, the Hawks.
Leckus giving it off after Holland had given it to him, and Crummel kicks his second. But Crode really set it up, didn't he? So they're back in front. Hawthorn very deep into this second quarter. A big turn for them. Vandenberg to Woods. And they're gaining confidence to half forward Holland. Ingerson, it's been a big duel. Tingay. Walsh has been impressive. Walsh on to Ottens. They're 2 of their rookies together. Ottens kicks to about 50, and Crode again. He looks an outstanding prospect. Goes wide to Crawford. Farmer Crawford has been one of the most interesting duels, and we've had a few tonight. Over the top to Harford. He had to stop. Back to Crawford. They've just got to keep cool here. Crawford okay. No problems there. Hamble again over the up. Well played Harford. Turned his man inside out. Clever. Got it to Barlow. The Hawks are playing with a bit of flair and a bit of confidence now. Barlow at centre wing. Barlow goes to half forward. Dutchie's going to be the target. Holland, those big jugs couldn't quite. He's going to pay it.
Gee whiz, a little generous there, I thought.
Yeah, well, the only reason it could have been paid, Robbo, is if the umpire deemed it was a firm grab, and here we see Nick Holland go for it. Now, just watch to see if it's a firm grab. It's a firm grab by everybody, including Nick Holland.
Very good kick by Chris Barlow too. It's one of the few times that Holland's been able to get away from Ingerson. Ingerson's had him for pace, but he found a bit of space and took a strong mark.
Had a shot in the first quarter from a very similar angle and about the same distance. He's kicked the behind. So Holland's starting to get involved, and that's important. Robertson off. Schwarz back on. Neil Danaher, who wasn't happy at quarter time, even though the D's led. Longmuir, gee, that was interesting. Leg up to protect himself, and then Chick copped him round the ear. But Longmuir, who's been pretty impressive, baby face, but tough as they come, I'd think. It's got the mark. Inside to Woewodin. And that's it at half-time. Gee, it was a good second quarter of footy. There were some wonderful contests. This match is very much at where we thought it might be at half-time. Anybody's game, because going into the match, it was a line ball. I know Melbourne were the bookmakers' favourites, but Hawthorn had won 2, lost 1, and the D's are 1 and 2. And it was 5 versus 12. And there's not much in this at the long break.
Well, Nick Holland, I think Jason mentioned, just getting into it towards the latter part of the second term, and he's an important part of the Hawthorn makeup, and if he can cause the Demons some problems, some concerns on that forward line, the Hawks have got plenty to look forward to.
They have. Ingerson's been very good. As we said, he does have a distinct pace advantage over Holland, but the longer the game gets, the better Holland will get. He's a fantastic endurance athlete. He will run hard all day, and if you give him a bit of space, he will cut you up with a lot of good marks. And it's great to see him feeding it off to the players running by now, just to take a bit of pressure off having to kick the goals yourself.
So it's set up beautifully, isn't it? As we see the players leave the arena. Neil Danaher still doing his work. At half-time, Melbourne 5-8. They trail Hawthorn 6-4. Once again, welcome back to the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Friday night football. The D's and the Hawks, it's 38 against 40. So just 2 points in favour of Hawthorn. Melbourne had most of it for much of the first half, Jason. David Neitz started really well. In fact, had he kicked straight, Hawthorn could have been in real trouble.
He did. He's ended up with 2-3, and it's been a little bit of a problem for the Hawks down back. He disposed of Mark Graham very quickly. He was just too strong. He fought for front position. They looked for him. A great kick coming in board there from Farmer. Again, he held front position, pushed him off, and took a chest mark. And I think Hawthorn very lucky that he didn't convert all his opportunities. Graham's been released, and now John Hayes gone back on him and done a pretty good job for the last part of that second quarter.
Marcus Seacamp unluckily got injured, Tingay running into him. Just changed the balance of the defence for the Demons.
It did, because he was picking up Chick, who's gone on to kick 3 goals now. He was concentrating on the ball, he had his head down. Tingay, another one who's been very good for the Demons. He came in hard, he won the ball, but unfortunately a solid contact with a hip to Seacamp's head, and he was an unfortunate casualty.
So Seacamp from the ground, Stephen Phoebe then came on, and it took Chick, and Chick's had a huge impact, as you'll see in a moment when we look more at the highlights. Now, in the final of the Ansett Cup, Eagleton, who was a sharpshooter, short forward, was picked up by Crawford. Crawford again got the major play on Farmer tonight. This has been a great duel, hasn't it?
It has been, and perhaps a bit of a surprise. You're putting your best player in a defensive role, but it's a fantastic tackle there. He's been all over Farmer. Farmer looked dangerous early, looked like it might be a poor decision by Judge, but in the end, Crawford's come back. He's won 15 possessions there, really got on top of Jeff Farmer, and he's turned the game around for Hawthorn and really rebounded and put them into attack.
Interesting decision. John talked about this, John Russo, our umpire. The first tackle was legitimate, probably paid before he actually grabbed him by the leg. The Hawks needed something after quarter time. They'd struggled 1 goal to 3, and they got it immediately, and Chick was involved, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's been the shining light up forward. He really got them back into the game with 3 goals. Not from clear marks. He's just jumped onto the loose ball. He's very strong. He's very quick. He knows where the goals are and he's been able to capitalise. And that really brought the Hawks back into the game. Here's another one just from general broken play. The ball spills out to Tony Woods and he got a lucky bounce. But Woodsy celebrated. He was pretty happy with that one, as you would be. And they've made the most of the opportunities and that's what really has got them back into this game. There's Chick again breaking away from broken play. Not a pretty kick, but it doesn't matter how they go through as long as they do.
Prior to the match, you and Robbo talked about Melbourne, the way they take the ball into the forward line. There was some indecision in that second term.
There was. They just wasted it a little bit. They've been good up until basically the second quarter there. They didn't know what to do. They got a little bit one-dimensional with David Neitz, and then all of a sudden when he was covered by John Hay, they didn't have another target to go to. Here they've had about 6 possessions around the edge of the 50. They mucked around with it. They looked for a clear handball to set someone up, but they couldn't find anyone to pinpoint a pass to or handball to run into an open goal, and the Hawthorn pressure was fantastic, the way they continually harassed, chased and tackled.
I think 3 things happened in that second quarter. The smarts of Crawford came to the fore, the athleticism of Crowe, and Holland got into the game late. Those 3 players became very important.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with Trent Crowe down back. He's grown in stature incredibly this year. He took 5 marks down back. He saw off David Schwarz. He ended up on the interchange bench, and he's playing, well, as a much older player than the young fellow he is. He's playing with a lot of maturity. He got the ball out to Crawford there from the mark. Crawford got it back. They overused it a little bit here, but in the end, they ran the ball down well, and we end up with Nick Holland, who started to come into the game late, took a couple of marks, he gave one off, he's had a couple of shots for goal, and the more he comes into the game, the better it is for Hawthorn. Good kick from Chris Barlow there. He just waited, and Holland was able to get away from Ingerson. He's done a particularly good job.
I think if you've seen those highlights, you've really seen what's happened in this first half. It's very, very well poised. That's the situation at half-time. Second half coming up after this. Welcome back to Friday Night Football. That's the half-time score at the MCG, 5-8 to 6-4. 38 plays 40, so the Hawks lead by 2 points. A terrific second quarter for the Hawks. If you want this match or any other, you can get it on Name a Game, 1800 035 665. So if you want your team at their best, then grab a copy of Name a Game. Third quarter, second half about to commence at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Friday night footy. The Demons go to the left. Salmon going early against White to try and stop that run. It's been effective. Matthew Phoebe, Viney, well done. It was a terrific sidestep by the veteran captain. Little chip was okay to White, who was prolific early. Back to Viney. Viney trying to straighten. Graham, who looks like he's playing on a wing, just stopped him in his tracks. Front spot was Johnson, had a good fly. Crawford's little toe poke didn't go far. Woewodin's handball was outstanding. Rigoni's kick for goal's a beauty. What a start for the Demons. They've got the first. After half-time, it was a terrific handball. And Rigoni finished it off.
And virtually an exact replica of the start of the game. The perfect start for the Demons. The ball was scrambled out. The hand pass came from Woewodin. Now, Rigoni, not noted as being strong on his left side of the body, but that's a fantastic kick from virtually 45 or 50 metres out, and that's got them all pumped up.
Gee, hasn't he been terrific value, Guy Rigoni, for the Demons? Plucked from, well, obscurity, you'd just about say, playing at Myrtleford. Richard Taylor kicks the ball to half forward. Taken away there by Ottens. Well done by Lord. Lord made the ball his, and Lord has hit the post. Well, it would have been a quick answer for Hawthorn if Aaron Lord had been able to convert that slight opportunity that he created for himself. Unsuccessful, hitting the post.
And they need him to kick 2 or 3 tonight too, to fill the Ben Dixon void, and he's not going to get that many opportunities. He's got to make the most of it.
Kick in, yes, the crowd has told you, a supporter down there, a lovely kick in, found Matthew Phoebe. White missed what he probably should have taken. Don't come a lot easier than that. Mark Graham right down the ground, kicks it emphatically towards full forward. Chick up early, Walsh there, keeping his footing to Chisholm, and then to Ottens. Ottens' short pass is all right, and Matthew Phoebe is marked. Beautiful article in the Herald Sun today about Matthew Phoebe. A terrific career. He's faced adversity with injuries over the early part of his career, and he's done very well. Leoncelli has marked that kick from Matthew Phoebe. He in turn to Longmuir, quickly onto the skipper. Away goes Todd Viney from 50 metres. Gets good distance, not quite the accuracy he was searching for. Through for a behind to Melbourne. at the start of the third term, the Melbourne interchange bench, Dipper.
Yeah, Robbo, we've got Russell Robertson, Stephen Phoebe, and of course Jamie Shanahan with a strained hamstring. And Mark Dawn caught up with the doctors in Melbourne about Marcus Seacamp.
Yeah, Dipper, Seacamp's been taken to the Epworth Hospital for precautionary x-rays. He's still got the guard on his neck. They don't think there's any structural damage, Dipper. At least they hope that much. They're pretty sure, but he's been taken there just in case.
Thanks, Mark, and also Dipper. So the D's are down to 20 with Seacamp at the Epworth Hospital, and Shanahan unlikely to come back under any circumstances, and probably for a couple of weeks. That's a courageous mark.
8 of 50, Bruce.
Against the Demons, Tingay. Neitz kicking it and Hay cutting it off.
Yeah, a little bit in it, but maybe not enough to warrant a 50, but the umpire considering that action by Stephen Tingay wasted some time, so the benefit of the 50.
Jonathan Hay kicks to half forward. Unable to take it to Holland. Boundary throw in. Rigoni, the goal kicker. It's 6-9 to 6-5. Tight first half, biggest margin in the match, 14 points at quarter time, when Melbourne led 3-4 to 1-2. Boundary throw in White, Holland, Harford just squeezed it out, got it inside 50, so an important ball. Attacking hard was Chick, handball missed Leckers, Chisholm with some toe here, and then coming in Barlow. It's a good race, isn't it? Barlow's done particularly well, then toe pokes it only as far as Longmuir. He's had his head taken off. It was bad luck. I think Leckers might have done the tackle. Longmuir, who
Good
was
type.
Leckers.
Good type, this Troy Longmuir.
Yeah, Jason spoke off camera in the commercial break at half-time about him, and he likes him too, Longmuir. As Viney, who's got a lot of it, gets to Matthew Phoebe.
20 possessions for Viney.
Phoebe kicks to half forward. Is it going to get as far as Neitz? Crawford looked as if Farmer might have held on to him. Back to Neitz. Neitz is so strong. Just fends off the tackler. Kicks to Schwarz. Got him. Bit of power there from Neitz. Just brushed his man aside like he was swatting a fly. Schwarz went to go, and I think time on might have been called, and he's been called to go back over the mark. Now he improves his angle. Goes for goal. Not a bad kick. Right there. Woewodin over the top. And this has been a problem for the Hawks tonight. We saw Farmer take really an uncontested mark at the other end of the second quarter, and just not enough flyers.
And that's poor play from Hawthorn. If you have a look at the players that were down there, you've got Woods, you've got Taylor, you've got Haskell, you've got Crawford, and there's not one tall down there. Crowden was stuck on the mark with Schwarz. None of the ruckmen or the tall players dropped back, and they didn't have anyone to compete up in the air.
Now, will he give it off, or will try and improve the angle? Hawthorn have positioned themselves reasonably well here to cut off a run. See the umpire, Brian Sheehan, telling Richard Taylor to go away. He's missed it. He'll be disappointed. Do you think Neil Danaher does that deliberately occasionally to get the tools out of the goal squares? We go down, Jason will answer that in a moment. Who's on the interchange, Dipper?
Jonathan Robran, Brett O'Farrell, Richard Vanderberg and Michael Collicutt.
So they've got the numbers, Hawthorn, on the bench.
Yeah, they have. I've got no doubt that it's a good ploy to drag the key defenders out if you can, particularly if you've got some smalls that can mark well overhead.
Kick in was good, found Barlow at right half back. His kick was good as well. Lord running onto it.
He's got Graham on.
And they can go on in towards the half forward area. Mark Graham is marked, looks to play on. Now he swings onto his left and hooks the ball. Kicks it directly towards goal. Back there is Holland, couldn't take the mark. Chisholm dispossessed by Chick. Chick an indiscreet hack at the ball there. In close congestion, may have been kicking in danger.
That's certainly the signal given by the umpire, Robbo. The indiscriminate kick was penalised.
And he got Ingerson too. A rather nasty blow there to the head. It looks as though he's recovered all right. And the ball kicked down towards half back where it's gone over for a boundary throw in. Melbourne lead 46 to 41. 2 goals to Farmer, 2 goals to Neitz, 1 each to Woewodin and Rigoni. Daniel Chick has kicked 3 for the Hawks. Look at Todd Viney, just trying to force his way, bustle his way through. Well gathered by Rigoni. Gets the handball back to Uze. Don't know whether that was designed, because that is Adam Uze's favoured side, but he let himself down with the kick eventually over on the full. The free kick to be taken by Crawford.
In that passage of play, Robbo, we saw two tackles end up high, but it was as a result of the play with the ball, not the tackler, so play on called.
Crawford wanting Holland. He just pushes high. Holland, good fly from the front. Woewodin's little kick away. Chance for Woods. Kicked a goal in the first half. Belts it hard and high. Hawthorn have got numbers. Salmon did well to sort of shepherd out there. Crummell might get a go with Chick. Taylor forcing a high tackle on Lord. Not paid. Play on call. Chisholm. Handball was terrific by the Demons. Uze ends up getting it from Phoebe, I should say. Kicks to Johnston, who's had a quiet couple of quarters. Crawford inside was good. Graham's a thumping kick. He goes to centre half forward. Got Dutchie on a lead. It was too far for him. Holland and also Ingerson. Will it sit for Holland? He's going to try and make it to Leckers outside 50. Leckers hooks back to centre half forward. Standing his ground was Salmon. Crummell, and misses. It was hanging in the air for a long, long time. He kicked 2 in the first half. It's 6-6 to 6-10.
And an interesting tactic that Hawthorn have adopted. Salmon's been taking the centre bounces, then drifting forward. Mark Graham, who's playing on a wing, is then taking responsibility for Jeff White, as he runs on the ball.
Still just 12 goals kicked in the game, and we're well into the third term. Scott Chisholm to bring it back for the Demons. Goes short, and it will finish with Uze. He didn't mark it, but his recovery was pretty good. Kicked it down towards half forward. Gee, that bounce, it's awkward, isn't it? Farmer left it behind. Went back and had the time to gather, then get the handball away. Neitz is on the end of it. Neitz's kick across his left shoulder towards full forward. Where are the crummers? It might be Tingay. No. Umpire Brian Shedd.
Free kick to Luke McCabe for holding, Robbo. Yep.
Has awarded the free kick to the Hawthorn run with Luke McCabe, and he goes out wide. He does it very well. Harford, handball on. Kick forward by Leckers. Don't really know whether the Hawks are going to get much advantage out of that play on there. Leckers tries to hold it up just long enough for Harford to run down and assist. His handball to Graham, back to Harford. Harford creating play for the Hawks.
He can have a shot
Runs
here.
up towards half forward, and he will do just that. Right to the goal line. It has gone over the head. Walsh did well to get a hand to it and force it through for a behind. Good passage of play there for the Hawks, and the man right in the middle of it, Daniel Harford, nearly goaling.
Hasn't Peter Walsh been impressive? He's seen off Joel Smith. He's had 15 touches and saved a certain goal there.
Kick in has been marked by Ottens in the left back pocket. You can see there the crowd in the northern stand. That kick hasn't come off. Crummell. Back he goes to Trelevin. Trelevin's kick. Sloppy left foot and the finish by Craig Trelevin. Missed everything. No, he's just sneaked it in for a behind. So the scores close just a little tighter. The Hawks 6-8 trail the Demons 6-10, and we're halfway through the third term as Adam Uze goes in short, kicks into the pocket. Rigoni is marked.
Kicked the only goal in this third quarter in the first minute. A couple of bounces across the face of goal, and then delivers with a poor kick to halfback. Leckers okay to Taylor. Good move by Taylor at 50. Little chip to Crummell. Terrific spoil by Rigoni. Handball by Walsh. Chisholm just brushed off Smith. Still with Chisholm. Handball was good to Phoebe, to Chisholm. Chisholm from half back. Long kick to half forward. Neitz and Crawford going hard for the 2 9s. Crawford able to get there in front of Neitz and then push to the line. Boundary throw in. Just wonder if Ken Judge will at some stage release Crawford off Farmer.
Tell you what, he's covering some ground, Bruce. When he thinks the time's right, he does leave Farmer and he helps out the other defenders, in particular when the ball goes forward towards Neitz, and he's doing a sensational job.
Neitz, Graham, well done Graham, he belted it away, got 20 metres on that. Viney tries to fend Harford off. Harford did well, kicks the ball along the boundary line. Ingerson, still Ingerson, is able to brush it aside while she's gone, holding the footy.
Well done, Johnny Hassel.
He just slipped, and when he did, he was gone, and Hassel got him. He hasn't made too many errors, that young fella. Hassel, inboard. Leckers loads it up. High one. Chick's going to fly. Gee, that was a mark.
Oh, dear.
It was just Chick's. Nobody else's. Smith's handball missed everything. Quick kick away by the Demons in defence by Longmuir. Gets to Woewodin. Woewodin at centre wing. Here's a go. Leoncelli.
Very good kick too. Leoncelli's got no one in front of him, and he goes long. He gets terrific distance, and he's banged it home for the Demons. Well, a magnificent kick by Leoncelli. He's played very well with his 13th kick. He's kicked his first and Melbourne's 7th goal to give them an 8-point advantage. Kick forward again by Phoebe. Mark taken by Johnston. Johnston's kick into the pocket is good. Hard to displace the Ox from in front. Trent Croad has played well, but the Ox has the chance to kick Melbourne's 8th goal.
Just managed to push off Croad just before he made the lead. Got him on the back foot. Gained a few paces break and a good pass from Johnson.
Another player who has overcome adversity. And what a kick. That is quite magnificent, David Schwarz.
Thumping kick. Demons pinch a break. 11 of the 14 goals have been kicked to the left of screen tonight. It's been the scoring end. White to Graham to Taylor. Taylor at centre wing. Gets it inside 50. Holland caught underneath the ball. Chance at the back. Can Chick hold his feet? Off the ground. Chisholm gets back. Chick might get a second go. Handball inboard. Joel Smith ridden into the ground surely. No.
I agree with you.
Back to Chisholm. Chisholm to Woods. Woods off balance.
And even then on the kick, Tony Woods was pushed as he kicked the ball, and that is a free kick. Everybody says that, you know, we don't want to notice the umpires, but Smith is barreled into the ground there. Then we see a push in the back on disposal, and they've got to be paid.
Ingerson outside 50. White a big flyer with Woewodin. The Demons enjoy the biggest lead of the match so far. It's the lead they had at quarter time, and the Hawks need the next one. Hay to Crawford. Terrific tackle by Farmer. This will be a contest. Farmer and Crawford are giving it all. Crawford free kick surely.
Yep. Bit of frustration creeping into Jeff Farmer then, and just decided to get rid of Shane Crawford as best he could, and we see the arm loop over the head. And
sport play, isn't it?
Well, you wonder why you do that. He just put on a very good tackle. He had the ball heading into the Melbourne's attacking zone, and then he gives away a silly free kick.
Graham sits underneath it. Dipper, 11 of the 14 to the left, but there's nothing in the breeze at all.
Nothing at all, Bruce.
So it's just the trend. It's a bit of a coincidence that it's been the punt road end that have been able to produce the goal so far tonight. Viney having a spell. He's done a great job for his team, as he so often does. Graham's kick. Collicker probably had a lot more time. Well done, Harford. Not quite. McDonald's in there, trying to ride the tackle. Still McDonald, left foot around the body. Johnston worked Barlow underneath it. An important touch here. Woewodin won't panic. Woewodin kicks to full forward. This will be interesting. Schwarz, and coming across was Farmer. Back to Crawford. Schwarz puts a real tackle on Crawford, and the little big man is good enough to stand tall as he always does. Out of play.
Gee, I don't mind that, Jason, that spirit there between David Schwarz and Shane Crawford.
He's fantastic, Shane Crawford. He really got hammered in the tackle. And great to see the Ox just pick him up at the end and say, well done. But I'm going to make you earn it. Well done.
That's fair enough, and I think the spirit of the game is fantastic. We have another look at that. Now, the umpire's found a free kick from the ruck contest. It's going to Graham, and Mark Graham, who lowered his colours early to David Neitz, has fought back hard. He's coming up for his 13th possession. He kicks it well outside the defensive 50. Jumping Jeff White, you ripper. Away to Phoebe. Phoebe's kick inside the forward 50. Back it goes at Johnson. In goes Travis Johnson. No, can't get the screw under the kick. Kicks it further away from goal from where it came. And it's out of bounds about 40 metres from the Melbourne goal. But what about Jeff White's leap? Magnificent stuff. Watch this. Up and over Brendan Crumble. Had to sit and was 10 out of 10 for that performance. Boundary throw in. Well, look at it from another angle. And it doesn't matter where you watch it from. It was spectacular. Schwarz to Stephen Phoebe. It's back into the congested area. Kicked away by Richard Taylor. Possession number 19 for that player. Lobs the ball on centre wing. Lord. He's got to get a couple of goals, Aaron Lord. He's been on the end of it. Now Nick Holland. Back to Lord. Will it sit? No, not quite. Well stood. He's ground by Uze. Uze out towards the wing. Woewodin, who's been an important player. His kick goes inside the forward 50, and Schwarz has judged it a little better than Trent Croad, and marks from behind the Hawthorn defender and will shoot for goal number 2.
He's spot on, Rubbo. He just judged it a little bit better. Croad's got a fantastic leap, but on this occasion he knew it was going over his head. He tried to do his best. Schwarz hung back, and this is a very similar position to where he kicked the last goal, so he knows what he's got to do. All he has to do is repeat the effort, and this would really get them fired up if he could do it again.
Getting close to 150 career goals, David Schwarz. Have a look at this.
If you don't mind.
What a bomb!
Big kick, isn't it, from a big man. 3 knee reconstructions, banging it through. And the Demons have made their move. They lead by 20 points here. The Hawks have got to get the next one. Woods gets it from Colliker. Over to Salmon. Salmon's a little handball back. They want the bounce. Tony Woods onto it. Bangs and bangs long to full forward. Chicks at the back. He's got it. He's a good player. He read that beautifully, and this is the answer they needed.
It certainly is, Bruce. He did read that very well. I thought for a moment he was going to go the big leap over the pack, but then he realised the kick from Woods had sufficient depth on it. All he had to do was hold his opponent forward. Now, he does place the hands in the back, but it's just holding the ground to keep his opponent from backing back, and the judgment was spot on. Took a relatively simple overhead mark and the perfect answer. Much needed goal to Hawthorn.
Another good Hawthorn forward used to do the same thing, Chase.
Chick to kick his fourth. He's got it. The Hawks get back.
Well, Bruce, interestingly, Daniel Chick has had 4 kicks, 4 shots at goal, that is, for 4 straight. On the other hand, David Neitz with 5 shots at goal for 2 goals, 3. It remains to be seen as to whether that will have any impact on the result of the game. The Hawks get the ball clear from the centre of the ground. Now the contest provided. It's well gathered by Trelevin. Trelevin will kick a goal, won't he? Running inside his forward 50. Craig Trelevin has missed. And that really was an important kick in the context of this match. They trail by 13 points.
And rightfully angry with himself, Robert. That's 2 he's missed, person. 1 on both sides of the body. And he's normally very good with his disposal.
And Mark Graham now back on David Schwarz in the goal square.
Kick in has been taken here by Woewodin. He in turn goes short. The mark is taken by Longmuir. Looks to play on. Gets it to Uze. Ducks back onto his left and then kicks it about 45 to 50. That little push out. No, play on. So the kick by McDonald out in front of Schwarz. Still there. So is Crawford. Mopping up beautifully. Out in front of McCabe. It sits for him. He goes wider still, Luke McCabe, for the safety of the line and finds it. So the Hawks would be relieved because it looked a dangerous forward move by the Demons.
And Dipper did tell us that Mark Graham's gone on to David Schwarz. Trent Crode's gone up to full forward for Hawthorn. But that's a great battle, Farmer and Crawford. Crawford getting on top, but he always looks dangerous, Jeff Farmer.
It's kick 2, Farmer. If he gets 4 at the end of the night, he will have done his job. But at the moment, Crawford's playing a bottler. Matthew Phoebe. Colliker to put some pressure on. Back to Schwarz. His 2 goals have been the defining moments, really, in this third quarter. Goes back. Ingerson, he's got plenty of time. Delivers, but going to ground was Viney. Not Viney, Tingo, I should say. And then McCabe under pressure went to the line and found it for a boundary throw-in.
You mentioned Viney, Bruce. He took himself off about 5 minutes ago. He's had both of his legs rubbed and he's about to come back on for Melbourne.
Had plenty of it too, Tipper. 21 possessions so far, 10 kicks and 11 handballs. So the boundary throw-in outside 50, Schwarz, Salmon. Salmon trying to get a handball away. Well, he's stiff there. He's tried to kick it. I know he didn't dispose of it correctly, but boy, he made the effort.
No, if he attempts to kick or handball, that's okay, Bruce, exactly as you mentioned.
So Johnston with the free kick. Well, at this point, he's got no chance. I don't reckon that's holding the ball.
No, I agree with you.
Farmer gives a lead. Now, Johnston, who missed a lot about 4 or 5 minutes ago when he played on from the pocket, goes in short, just pops it up to Schwarz. He's going to take it with Graham. Graham, well done. Graham slews across, still in the danger zone. Important ball to be won here. Rigoni close to the line. Woods keeping him honest, forcing him out. They've both got a goal, those 2 fellas tonight. They're 1-1.
I think we thought this game was going to be close. I mean, they were pretty evenly matched on paper, and it looks like going all the way down to the final siren.
McDonald out of the air, ball going to full forward. Schwarz, he's so strong, gets it back to Stephen Phoebe. Stephen Phoebe hooks, it's coming back. Not enough, it's a behind.
Well, chance going begging there for the Demons. Stephen Phoebe for Melbourne as Crawford prepares to kick it back. 14 points the margin. It was that margin between the 2 teams at quarter time. Melbourne in this term have kicked 4 goals against Hawthorn. Only 1 goal, and that of course came from the boot of Daniel Chick. Salmon can't grab it. Oh, what brilliantly gathered by Rigoni into the middle, and already Viney into the fray. He's right in the centre of the MCG. Goes short, player on his own. It's McDonald, 50 metres from goal. Anthony McDonald can kick a goal here for Melbourne. Close to 3/4 time. There's only 3 minutes left in the term. And really, Paul Salmon must have thought he had 100% ownership of that footy then.
It was a fantastic steal by Rigoni. And there's no doubt that Todd Viney is the driving force behind this side. He wins a lot of hard balls in the middle and has really set up this opportunity for Anthony McDonald.
Well, he's a good kicker of football. And this is a lovely kick. It's gone all the way. It's a goal. Beautiful kick by Anthony McDonald.
Very good long goal from McDonald. Has given the Demons some breathing space. They're out to 20 points for the second time in this quarter. Salmon and White. It's been a hard night for Salmon. He certainly put in, but he's had some frustrating moments. Goalkicker onto it. One bounce, then tries to bring it back to full forward, gets it in that direction. Harford caught underneath the ball. Walsh with Chick, still with Chick, under pressure Chick, then taps it back, well done to Lord. Lord gang tackled, I think he's gone. Ball up, good play Chick, he kept it going, got it to Lord. Lord's had an average old night.
He's going to get the first option now, Bruce, who's going to handball, then he hang on to it.
Probably lucky, I think.
And you're talking about a prior opportunity, Dipper. Very lucky.
Holland, Uze, the Demons know they've got to grit their teeth here and hold on. Chisholm gets it from Phoebe to Tingay. This is good footy. Tingay with a bounce. He's going to take his man on. Goalkicker runs him down. Tingay's kicked to Neitz at half forward. Neitz running backwards. Hay can't put a tackle on him. They do now. Graham's got hold of it. Handball over the top to McCabe. Rebound footy. McCabe's kick to centre wing. Cromwell underneath. Stains his ground against Chisholm. Handball to McCabe. McCabe goes to full forward. Has it got the legs to get there? Chick can't quite get it. Taken by Lord. Handball. Crode. Left foot by Crode. Not going to make it. Phoebe getting back. Takes the mark in the back pocket.
Stephen Phoebe, that is, for Melbourne, in the left back pocket, and kicks it close to the line. It's all right. Oh, isn't he mobile? Jeff White.
He's run about 60 metres to get that mark. Fantastic effort.
And quite athletic to get it down close to the ground. Kicks the ball to Viney. Viney coming up for possession number 23. Craig Trelevin. Now Viney, defensive 50-metre line in the background. Kicks it out wide. Hay and Neitz. Ball comes back to Barlow. Hand pass. Just got a little hand on it there. Woods. Tingay intercepts. Tingay's kick. Inside the forward 50, coming out and marking safely on his chest is Graham. He really has to take a punt here. He's decided to transfer play. Crawford. No one to kick to though. Melbourne manning up beautifully. Back down the ground. So Crawford has to straighten up. Looks to give the hand pass off and then forced to kick with the left. Does well. Pushing in the back there against Woewodin surely. Free kick to Lekas. Just behind centre wing. Perhaps as far back as half back. 71 plays 51. Angelo Lekas. Just seconds left in the third term. They've got to take a mark and kick it forward quickly. Holland has got the mark. Seconds ticking away. Kick forward by McCabe. Not bad, no. Chick couldn't take the mark. There's the siren as Crumble ran onto it. Did the umpire hear it?
He did,
I think he might have. It was a goal kick by Crumble, but it won't be allowed because the siren sounded just a fleeting second before Crumble had kicked the ball. Three-quarter time here at the MCG Friday night footy. Stephen Tingay as usual, tough at the footy. The coach still with a quarter to go. The opposition coach down to lecture his players. Scoreboard, Melbourne leading by 20 points. They're 10-11 and Hawthorn are 7-9.
Interesting, they went to Schwarz there, didn't they? It was a big 2 goals that he kicked.
It was. I think the key forwards have been the difference so far. Hawthorn haven't had a reliable target up forward. Chick's worked very, very hard to kick his 4 goals, but apart from him, they've been a little bit naked up front.
5 goals to 1 for the Demons in that quarter. They have made their move. They'll be hard to beat from here. They lead 10-11-71. Hawthorn 7-9-51. Welcome back to the Melbourne Cricket Ground. It's three-quarter time on Friday Night Football, and the D's have got a handy lead. They had a big third quarter. They kicked 5 goals to 1, and the lead by 10-11-7-9. In fact, 13 of the 17 goals have been kicked to the left of screen. A good lead, not absolutely overwhelming. What about Farmer so far tonight?
It's been interesting. He's getting a little bit frustrated. I think he's being matched up. One of the few players that can really handle him for pace, Shane Crawford. Crawford also damaging with a lot of possessions. He's been working hard out of the back line. In actual fact, I think the captains have probably been the best 2 players on the ground. Farmer just not getting as much freedom as he'd like, and that's upset him a bit.
Tony Longmuir for the Demons?
He's been impressive. It's the first I've seen of him, but he's not afraid to tuck it under the arm and have a bit of dash out of defence. He looks to have very good disposal, good pace, a lot to like about the way he's played tonight.
Angelo Lekas.
Well, Lekker's been one of our best possession getters for the year. He's perhaps been a little bit down tonight, but look, he's going to keep trying right through until the end of the game.
Shane Woewodin had a big third quarter, didn't he?
He did. I think he had about 9 possessions in that third quarter, and one of the reasons why they've established a 20-point win.
51 straight games is a pretty good record. And what about the Fish, Big Paul?
Oh, he's battling manfully, the big fella. There was one instance here late in the third quarter where White picked up that he'd run 60 metres. Fish ran the 60 metres as well, just not quite as quick, Bruce.
Well, Dipper has been eavesdropping. What's going on, Dipper?
I certainly have, but just keep an eye on a couple of blokes for Melbourne. We know the bench is down to 2 players, obviously, with Seacamp and Shannon not playing this evening. Schwarz grabbed his groin with about 4 minutes to go before the third quarter song was about to come off, and also Tingay. Both players are playing in this last quarter. Keep an eye on those 2 players. And Kenny Joe just singled out Daniel Chick about what a magnificent effort he's been up in the forward line tonight, Bruce, but light rain starting to fall too, as to the drama tonight.
Thanks, Dipper. So that's a situation of 3/4 time. Watch for Schwarz and Tingay. See if they can run the game out. The Demons, good lead. First goal here, vital. If Melbourne get it, it's going to make it pretty tough for the Hawks. But the thing about the Hawks, they've shown a lot of resilience under Ken Judge, and they will keep going. Robran getting his first run and first touch. Taylor's 18th kick. Inside 50, Ingerson did a good job. Chick tried to give it off. Walsh has been good. Uzo's been good, but they game tackled him. Chick was terrific. Lord has kicked the goal. Lord has kicked the goal. Well played, Chick.
Bruce, I don't know how much relevance this has. I know Hawthorn have got the first goal, but in the second term, the Hawks going to that end, kick 5-2 to 2-4. If they repeat the dose, it's going to be just a kick in it at the finish.
And great work from Daniel Chick here. He stuck at it. He had the ball taken off. He harassed both Melbourne players, laid a couple of tackles, and Aaron Lord got the fortunate run of the ball and finished it off very, very well.
And I think you had a few words of suggested play from Aaron Lord. He's got to kick a goal.
He needs to kick. Probably, I think if he can kick 2 or 3 this quarter, the Hawks are right in it.
They're a big chance. Well, there's not much in it now. It's just 14 points.
He's been fantastic up forward, Daniel Chick.
Yes, 4 goals against his name. Brendan Crummell's kicked 2 for the Demons. 2 goals to Schwarz, 2 goals to Farmer, 2 goals to Neitz. The Hawks go forward once again. Robran having something to do with that last goal. Walsh gets it to Leoncelli. Chisholm's left it behind. Harass him. Get on him quick. Make the football hot. They do that, but he gets the hand pass away to Leoncelli. Back to Walsh. Hasn't he run beautifully? He was in the passage of play at left half-back, gathered it at right half-back. Farmer trying to conjure up some magic, not able to on this occasion, and forces a boundary throw in. 14 points, 71 plays, 57. Melbourne lead. The ball on centre wing. Salmon and White. It's been a very interesting battle. Knocked forward, Colliker. Can he control the football close to the line? Matthew Phoebe just putting on that little bit of pressure. It was going to be very difficult for Michael Colliker.
I'll just bring up the date, Robbo.
Yes, go, Dip.
With the benches, Shanahan, Seacamp, Johnson and Robinson. And for Hawthorn, we've got Harford, Joel Smith, O'Farrell and Vandenberg.
Thanks, Dip. And Tingay and Schwarz both playing in the goal square, the 2 Melbourne players who Dipper thought might be struggling a bit for fitness at the start of this last quarter. Matthew Phoebe, Colliker almost. Phoebe back only as far as Salmon. Hawks have started positively here. Salmon leans back, belts it in the direction of Holland. Terrific mark, Walsh. What a good young player this fellow is. First season, has looked the goods. Short. Ingerson with those long arms of his. Another South Australian. Awkward kicking style. Goes to half forward. Little push out by Neitz. It was paid. Neitz quickly on to full forward. Schwarz in the front spot. Crawford did very well. Handball on the up was good by Hay. Crawford was good. To McCabe. McCabe from half back. goes to Robran. With him is Rigoni. Robran in front, probably a little bit unlucky. Woods back to Robran. Robran's handball in board. McCabe's handball. Clever play down the line to Graham. Graham's kick is neat. Crummell's hands were good. Got it across to Barlow. A promising build-up. Barlow to full forward. Chick tried to get away with that one. Couldn't. Bouncing ball. Uze pushes it in front. Harford goes to ground. Clever Harford. Handballs to the space. Colliker's onto it with Matthew Phoebe. They'll force it out, the D's. Is that deliberate?
He's pinged him.
Yep. He's got him pinged. Free kick. Lord to take it. Ingerson may be stiff.
Great pressure, Hawthorn. Great pressure.
Hey, Jason, I think our team's going all right at the moment.
We're going okay, Robbo. I just hope Daniel Chick can kick his 5th here.
So it's Chick to take it. Ingerson should have gone for the point, shouldn't he? I mean, that was his go.
He should have. He'll run out. He'll run out and kick it around the corner here, I think.
Chick's kick 4. He's kicked 10 goals so far this season. That's a good kick. He's hit the post. Has he?
Yeah, great try, but hit the post.
Kick.
Gee, that was only centimetres, wasn't it? Hit the inside back of the post.
Well, some drama there. Chick, very clever. Gee, he was unlucky. That was home all the way, wasn't it?
Can that be classified as through the goals?
No, Robbo, it's got to be completely over the line before it's a goal or a behind.
Gee,
so
we are barracking for Hawthorn if Robbo starts talking like that.
Well,
Could hit the goalpost behind the goalpost.
Yes, it's a little bit technical, but play goes on. Still a chance. Harford to Graham. Graham, well done. He saw Brendan Crummell and executed it with his non-preferred kicking foot very nicely indeed.
And he's a natural left footer, not confident kicking for goal under any circumstances, Mark Graham, and always looks to offload. That's a fantastic centre to Brendan Crummell, who has been pretty quiet, but he has kicked a couple of goals, and 3 would be a very good night's work.
Well, cap it off and kick a goal. He emphatically does just that.
3 to Crummell, 15 of the 19 goals to the left of screen.
It's incredible, and the flags on top of the the scoreboard are almost going the other way.
So the Hawks with some momentum. The D's have got to respond. Taylor, Salmon getting his hands on it. Taylor getting plenty of it to centre half forward. Well done, Ingerson, as he's done all night. Chisholm had a terrific 3rd quarter. Handball over the top. Good tackle on Longmuir. Was it too high? It's coming back.
Free kick coming back.
Back to Ottens, I think.
Yes.
So Ottens, who hasn't had a lot of on-field time, coming off the bench most of the night.
No signal given by the umpire, Bruce, so I can't be sure what it was for.
Stephen Phoebe provides the lead. Graham hangs on to him. Belts it out of play. It's had an interesting night, Mark. Graham, slaughtered early by Neitz, has really worked his way back into it.
Certainly has looked a lot more comfortable up the ground, and he loves a bit of freedom to run around.
Salmon is stuck to his guns as he always does. White has had some spectacular moments. Been a pretty interesting duel. Taylor again did well to push it on. Rigoni to his captain. Viney, back turn, cut off by Barlow was good. And again, you feel that Hawthorn have got a real taste here and a sniff. Sure, the D's are in front. 7 points. There's interchange. Vandenberg hasn't had much time after the beginning. O'Farrell, fresh legs maybe to come on. Remember, Melbourne has been down to 20 men for a fair while.
Gee, you'd be a game coach to take Salmon off the ground, wouldn't you, Bruce? I think he might go all the way. He's got a big heart. Here go the Hawks again. Lekas in towards the hot spot, right in front of goal. Holland, ball spills. Chick overran it. A kick out there by Uze. Now the race is on. The Hawks have got 3-1, and they get there quickly. Lord trying to get the hand pass away. Goes back towards the middle of the ground. Taylor's knocked up getting the ball. Richard Taylor goes for goal! Magnificent goal for the Hawthorn side.
Well, I've got to tell you, Bruce, for a match that we said was very ordinary in the 1st quarter, has it lifted these last 2 and a bit quarters? I mean, this is just fantastic football. And again, the scoring is heavy at one end of the ground. Anthony McDonald in a lot of trouble there. The chase was on here. Lord first to the ball. The long handball came to Richard Taylor. Anthony McDonald running him down from behind and obviously injured himself in the tackle. But another goal kicked from 50 metres out. And are the Hawks pumped up?
I think Lord might have got a bit of a sting too. He's lifted his game in the early part of the last quarter.
McDonald looks okay. Taylor's having a huge last quarter. Last time these two teams played under lights, and probably the only time in the 90s, maybe it was a point Hawthorn won 15-12 to 15-11. Jason, who sits alongside us, kicked 10 that night. There's a point the difference tonight.
And the rain's coming down too, Bruce. The rain's coming down.
Which it did that night. I think maybe it's pouring down now, isn't it, Dipper?
Absolutely.
Throw against Robin there indicated, so the free kick to young Ottens again.
That's right.
And McDonald coming off for Melbourne.
You just wonder about Tingay's fitness, Dipper. You put us onto that. He stood in the goal square for the whole of this quarter. Ottens kicks to 50. Crode's got it against Neitz. What a big game this has been for Trent Crode. He's had some great moments. Woewodin bangs it back in. Front spot, Neitz, big fly, Schwarz. Could you think of anyone better?
Yeah, he's certainly in distance, but doesn't fortune favour the brave. It was a bit of a flat floating punt. He just decided to charge at the ball. He leapt up in the air and met it at full speed and took a fantastic mark. And, well, we know he's in range. Can he kick straight again?
50 metres out. It's coming back. It's long and it's strong and it's a goal.
Well, the big man wearing the Guernsey number 5 for the D's just puts the big hand up in the air. Congratulated by David Neitz. He's kicked 3, David Schwarz, McDonald and Johnston warming the bench for Melbourne. White gets his first hand to it. Phoebe left it behind. Gathered by Woods. He's going to get a second chance, Tony Woods. Gets back onto his right, then kicks the ball towards half forward. Robrin lost it. In went Barlow. Handball in towards the middle. Salmon. Kick smothered off the boot. Could be knocked forward. Chance for Leoncelli. Handballs to his own advantage. Crummel. Umpire Sheehan has awarded a free kick.
I think he pinched it.
A little technical, but it goes to Leoncelli. Kicks it quickly towards half forward. Punched away by Salmon. Gathered by White. Handball back. Kick coming in from Robertson, a high one, in towards the front of goal. Schwarz, Hay, up high, Tingay. He's smothered as he grabbed the ball, and he'll be taken to the ground with the footy as the rain continues to tumble down here at the MCG. Melbourne lead by 7.
Certainly is getting heavy, but funny to see the ball float high into the forward line, and 3 pairs, a defender and an attacker, all shepherded each other off the ball, and the ball actually hit the deck.
Crowd scrambling for some shelter now as the rain gets a little heavier.
Neitz tried to Crawford, then just toe poked it. Farmer kept his head down. Neitz, Taylor over the top. He had to hold back the kick, Taylor, then. He did it. And again, a ball up. You'd think the goals are going to be hard to get now. It's really coming down heavily. 77 to 70. Melbourne lead by 7 points. Salmon and Schwarz. Crawford's handball didn't find Leckers. Leckers did very well to Taylor. Ball slips out. Crode's back turn was wonderful, and then decided to give it across to Hassel. It was a big play. Hassel's kicked to half forward. No free kick paid. Front spot there. It was hard to take from Crummel. Handball was okay. Comes back to Hassel. He threw it in the end. Might have been lucky. Woods, what's he going for? He's going for goal, Tony Woods. It's going. It's a goal. He's kicked his second. Remarkable.
I tell you who was good there. Jonathan Robbins handling it with ball was exemplary.
He's been an injection of real life at centre-half forward for Hawthorn in this last quarter. Very sure hands, very highly skilled player. That was a fantastic handball, under pressure, in the wet, a clean grab. As Bruce said, ended up getting thrown out the back to Tony Woods, and gee, he enjoys them. He doesn't kick them too often. That's an important one, and does he celebrate?
Kick 2, and the long kick into chip was an important one. I said Crummel, it was Robin. It was a terrific handball on the up.
Yes, and certainly those one grab opportunities with the slippery ball are going to be quite crucial in the final stages of the game. Salmon still working hard. Tony Woods over the top. Robin again. This time he missed his target. Away goes Taylor. A little toe poke out to the advantage of the Hawks. Gathered by Graham. Graham's kick lands inside his forward 50. Holland can't control it. Ingerson there for the D's. And with 1 point separating these two sides, 12 minutes left. Stick to your seats, folks. It's going to go right down to the final siren.
And Rob, a lot of players have still got their mould of soles on. Obviously haven't had a chance to change them, so become very slippery conditions at the moment. So players have really got to hang on to their on their footing. On the
Fair
ground.
point, Dipper. Down at ground level. Robin over the top. Crummel. Richard Taylor. Kick it quick. He couldn't. Well done. The D's stick to their task. Todd Viney The tackle coming from Phoebe. Out wide, it's at right half forward. Farmer trying to kick the ball to his own advantage. Went a little bit too far and forces a boundary throw in right half forward for Melbourne. Joel Smith warming the bench. Brett O'Farrell. 1 point the margin in favour of Melbourne. And Hawthorn have kicked 4 goals already. Terrific crowd here at the MCG. And they continue to watch quite intently as this game will unfold. It's very close at the moment. Robran, Otten's over the top. Robran, is that a penalty against him? Could have been either one way or the other, maybe holding the ball, but Robran could have been a little fortunate, not penalised. 46,289 people at the cricket ground tonight. Todd Viney to kick the Demons forward.
And does it well after White tapped it to him. Robertson about 70 metres from goal. Goes to Schwarz at centre half forward. Forced underneath it by Hay. Crawford there with Farmer. It's been an intriguing clash. Crawford's had the best of it. The Wizards kicked a couple. He's deep against the fence. Has to go back inboard. It's okay. To Stephen Phoebe about 80 metres from goal. Goes long. Melbourne have got some numbers. Crow flies in there. Comes back to Hassel, who's had his hands on it a bit. Poor handball. Leoncelli's good enough. The hook back kick to fall forward. It won't be a goal. Who can take the mark? Well done, Leckis, because Neitz was lurking dangerously and Leckis belted it over the line. Leoncelli disappointed. It wasn't a bad kick back. Boundary throw-in. Hassel's handball was very, very dangerous.
It worried me, that handball.
Tough watching your offside in a close finish, Jack.
Head to the boundary, fellas.
Boundary throw-in. Free kick against Schwarz. Really not smart play by the Ox, who's had a very good second half. Giving it to Salmon. Salmon leans back and kicks it out wide to Jonathan Hay, who's on now. To Barlow, who's been useful. Can have a run. Probably won't bounce in these conditions. The kick is good. To Crummell. The handball okay to the goal-kicking Tony Woods. To centre half forward. Big fly. Ball comes down. Read by Longmuir. Ball comes out. Chisholm is a hot footy in more ways than one at the moment. A slippery hot footy. It's 60 metres from goal. It'll be a ball up. Hang on to your seats, everybody.
Bruce, you wouldn't want just a little bit of good luck to decide this game, but I'm sure that's the way it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, one of these two teams are going to have a bit of good fortune, kick a goal, and it just might be the difference in the finish. You can see the time left, just the barest possible margin. Still the Hawks. Daniel Chick, confronted by Longmuir. Somehow they get it out of there. Aaron Lord, who's had a quiet night, tackled by Phoebe. Shrugged the tackle. Aaron Lord goes for goal. Oh, dear. Gee whiz, there was a chance there, wasn't there, for, I think it was Mark Graham, wasn't it?
They're all trying to shepherd it through, and in the end it almost bounced up and hit Mark Graham in the chest, and he didn't have his hands ready to grab it, as we see the ball
did hit him,
come up and hit him in the chest, and he got the shock of his life.
Well, don't worry. Scores a level as a result of that rush behind to the Hawks as Tingay kicks it back for Melbourne.
He's put himself into the field of play, Tingay. Well done by Phoebe. That was terrific. To Walsh. Salmon tries to push it up. Gee, but it's no difference because Leoncelli had taken the mark. Long way from goal. Scores all tied up. Kicks inside. 50. White made a valiant attempt. Hawthorn have got numbers. Crow. Hay had an airy. A mistake. Farmer high tackle. Inexperience maybe from the Hawks there, Crowd and Hay.
Yeah, Jeff Farmer certainly didn't make it obvious that he was ducking his head there, but he just did duck it enough to make it very, very clear that the tackle was going to go over the top, and there it goes. So Jeff Farmer rewarded with a set shot from 35 odd metres out from goal.
I know the intention was right, but you really do have to go low, particularly when you're trying to tackle the smaller players. The natural reaction is to duck the head a little bit or drop a little bit at the knees, and you've really got to go at the hips.
Goes for his third goal. He's been beaten tonight by Crawford, but that's a good return. It just went away, didn't it? It was going. He's going to be disappointed.
I think Jonathan Hay might breathe a sigh of relief when gathering the football. Well, Jonathan Hay a little earlier when he just tried to hack it out of the air.
You're right, Robbo.
Barlow's kick is a beauty. To Graham at centre wing. The D's are a point in front.
Don't worry about Mark Graham. His performance has been good. And so was Jonathan Robran. That was a very good mark. We've already mentioned the rain falling quite consistently now. Get rid of it, Tony Woods. He does. He kicks it to within scoring distance. Holland couldn't take the mark. Who's kicks it away. It finishes with Chisholm. He gets past and then steadies, kicks across the face of goal. Important gather here. Longmuir out wide. Now the race is on. This is an important passage of play. Matthew Phoebe run down. Well done by McCabe. Still the opportunity for Melbourne through Walsh. He's under a bit of pressure. Gets the kick in the direction of Neitz. He's well tackled. Gets the handball away. Under pressure, Collicker. Therefore, Melbourne was Russell Robertson. And Melbourne lead by a point. And they're pretty excited here at the MCG, the Demons and the Hawks.
A great chase by Luke McCabe just before. The Demons had 2-on-1, and if he didn't affect that tackle, they would have run unchallenged into the forward line.
Matthew Phoebe also did well to get the tap out. It really was wonderful football by McCabe. Viney knocked up getting it. It's been terrific. Centering ball going to ground. Robertson fell over. Collicker's got the mark. 11-12 to 11-11. Collicker to McCabe, who's had a very good match. Crawford's released himself here from Farmer. The Wizards let him go. Crawford with a bounce, chips it over the top. Running onto it, Leckis was going on, saw Ingerson, pulled himself up. Leckis at centre wing, pushing up to half forward. A high ball. They want Dutchy. It'll be a tough one to mark. Chick did very well. Robin, is it? The kick is a point. Crummel, so behind, so we're back to all square. That's a good hat on a night like tonight. Something to do with the footy record.
Would a draw be a fair result? I know they're both striving for the 4 points, but it's been a terrific tussle.
I don't think you could begrudge either side a victory, and a draw in the end might be a fitting result, Robert, but I've got to tell you, I'm finding this real tough at the moment.
Yeah, this could be costly because Nick Holland coming off with the blood rules, so hopefully he won't be off for too long.
Farrell or Smith's going to take his place. So
in the conditions, they had to go for the smaller player.
Smaller option. So Tingay to bring it in. Great contest. All square hit, 11-12 apiece.
Just a cut left for Nick Holland. They're working on him very quickly.
Well, 6.5 minutes left. Dipper and Joel Smith there on screen. Scores level.
Wonder if he can become our newsmaker tonight in a real sense.
Well, it would be very, very interesting. Mark Doran mentioning the career of Joel Smith before the game. Chisholm run down. Well done, Chick. Leoncelli gets the handball to Jeff White. Back he goes to Ingerson. Ingerson high, close to the boundary line. Punched away by Woods. Disciplined football. Trying to break away with the footballer Stephen Phoebe. Just couldn't quite get it. Over to Matthew Phoebe. Back to Leoncelli. Leoncelli's kick into the pocket. Well marked back there by McCabe. He's done a good job.
Got Salmon on the switch.
And the left foot kick finds Paul Salmon. And he can go further. He can go wider. The defensive 50. He does just that. Gets the ball to Crawford. He's going to be an important player, isn't he, Crawford? Oh, mark dropped by Robin. Gathered by Longmuir. Turnover costly. Football finishes with Robertson. 50 metres from goal for the Demons. Short pass. Looking for Schwarz. No mark. Back goes Salmon. Handball away. Crawford. Little kick over the top. Johnny Hassel. He can't get there. Yes, he's can apply the tackle. Still a chance for Melbourne. Neitz is caught with a footy. McCabe should be penalised. And that was a bad error right within scoring distance. Luke, I don't think there's much you can say to the umpire.
Oh, look, he's just lifted the footy, Robbo, and once you lift it like that, then you're in real trouble. So certainly the free kick was warranted, but in the heat of the battle and with the ball the way it is, you'd love to be a little more lenient with the players, but the instruction given to the umpires is that if they lift it like that, he's gone.
It just looked such an odd thing to do, and I think that was brought on by the pressure of the game. He had fought well against a bigger opponent in Neitz, brought the ball to the ground, and all of a sudden he wanted to get rid of it, and he just scooped it through the legs. It's a definite free kick. I've got no problems with that, but it just seemed so out of the blue to do something like that.
McDonald with the football. He's already kicked one. It was an absolute bomb in the third term from outside 50 metres. So we know that he can kick a goal. Holland trying to relieve that blood situation. McDonald goes for goal. He's kicked it. Demons by 6.
Well, the Demons getting a goal after a remarkable build-up of play. McCabe playing tunnel ball and giving the free kick away. He's had a big night, McCabe. Graham goes off the ground. Hassel did well to push forward, but the Hawks now face the battle. Schwarz was good. to White. White sweeps the handball to Woewodin. Woewodin back turns and finds some space and can deliver to centre half forward. Neitz has got 3 to beat. Almost does it. McKay pushed in the back. Farmer doesn't give the handball away. The whiz, left foot high. Really should have given it off. Bad play. Selfish out on the fall.
It's a case of either hero or villain, Bruce, and in the end, if you don't give it off and you take the responsibility, you must kick the goal. He missed that. I know he badly wanted it. It's been a tough duel with Crawford, but perhaps the villain in the end.
And there goes the Melbourne runner.
Hay, Long, Salmon, can't quite get him. Tony Woods has been good. Viney, who's been outstanding. Woods, okay, gets it forward. Opportunity for Graham. He's had a very good last half. Centering kick to McKay, but it'd be good if he could do something positive here. He's had a very good match, except for one moment. He sets it up. There's no Holland. Who could there be? Walsh. Lord. Can't quite. Brought to ground.
Held.
Free kick.
The umpire's penal. Awarded a free kick for holding the man.
Well, that looks lucky.
It certainly did. I mean, Aaron Lord attempts to kick. We see him trying to pick up the footy to get that kick away. Kicks and then...
That's a bad decision, John.
Yeah, I agree with that, Bruce. I mean, Scotty Chisholm just laid the tackle and attempt to kick by Aaron, and here we see what's happening.
Kicks his second. The Demons are stiff.
And Robbo called it earlier. He said this game could be decided by a piece of luck. That has to go down as a piece of luck. It looked to be a very good tackle from Scotty Chisholm, but you've got to make the most of your opportunities. Even if you don't deserve them, it's a cruel game, and I know Scotty Chisholm would be feeling just that cruelty right now.
The thing that's annoying is that his acceleration put him into the contest. There was nothing wrong with the tackle, and he's been pinged for it.
The only thing I can think of maybe, Bruce, is that the umpire didn't consider Aaron Lord took possession of the footy, but in fact he did. So if that was the umpire's opinion, he was wrong, but I suspect that was the case.
Crummell has kicked 2 goals, and actually Crummell has kicked 3. Aaron Lord has kicked 2 goals, but the leading goal kicker for Hawthorn is Daniel Chick, who's kicked 4. White up early, jumping all over the top there of Salmon. Gee, good contest provided by Matthew Phoebe. It was a crunch. Kick forward there by Rigoni. Chance now for Melbourne. They're still in this game. So are the Hawks. Scores level. 3.5 minutes left. And eventually, well done there by Chris Barlow, is it? Who's taken the ball over. He's been pretty good. He's been hard at the footy. Not big posies coming off the bench, 9 and 3, but certainly important in this Hawthorn resurgence. They trailed at 3/4 time by 20 points. With 3.5 minutes left, yes, the scores are level. Salmon trying to get the ball down. Richard Taylor has been absolutely sensational. His work rate has been enormous. Brilliant take there by Daniel Chick. Handball away, kick forward by Barlow. Who can take a mark? Where will the ball spill to? It won't spill anywhere.
Free kick to Peter Walsh.
Free kick to Walsh. Walsh plays on quickly. Oh, shocking blow here. Graham might go in. Stephen Phoebe hacks it out of the congestion there for the safety of the line, and it will be thrown in with under 3 minutes left.
And is this the time that the experienced players will come to the fore? If you're not sure about the short kick, take your time and go back, kick it long towards the boundary or to your ruckman.
Remember, little kick to Uze. Away now, Phoebe. Kicks to centre wing. These two teams have never drawn in a match. They've played 133 times and they've never had a draw. And here we have it with 2.5 minutes to go. Remember at the start of the night when we talked about a night to remember, round 22 in 1996, where there was a point the difference. Well, this one is going down to the wire again. 12-12 apiece. Could be the blood rule here, is it? Is it Salmon, the blood rule?
Yes, and pointed out by one of the Melbourne players too.
He might be. He's given the all clear, I think.
He's okay. So the Dobber didn't succeed.
Gee, they're all having a look at him too, aren't they?
Well, they went for the very important player in the Hawthorn side. If you put him off the ground with 2.5 minutes left, it'd be a big hole to fill.
It was almost like golf, calling the official to ask for a ruling, wasn't it?
Oh, really?
Schwarz and Salmon. Schwarz gets his hand to it. Taylor's had a magnificent last quarter. Ricochets off Salmon. It goes to Phoebe. Matthew Phoebe's kick to the pocket. Neitz, Hay. Any score at this stage will do. Boundary throw in. The Demons have it inside 50.
Fingernails down to the quick.
Grandstand finish. How would Judge and Danaher feel right now? Their tummies will be turning.
Yeah, well, you're in the hands of your disciplined players now. You hope that they don't make a silly mistake. Todd Viney gets the kick away. Look out, Jeffrey Farmer's onto it. Nearly took the mark. Kicked away for the Hawks as Farmer appeals in the background for the mark, but you didn't hold it quite long enough, Jeffrey. And again, it is being forced as a boundary throw-in outside 50. It's 2 kicks from goal. We've got 2 minutes left. And who's going to have the good fortune in the last couple of minutes? White still jumping, leaping, and getting a big fist to it. Farmer, hey, Farmer! In goes Jeffrey Farmer, he made it blue! Oh, he would have kicked it, I think. Oh, dear me, it's going to be locked up by the Hawks. And Jeffrey Farmer was home and hosed.
This game has had everything. Last time he didn't give the ball out. He tried to kick it himself. He got a bit of a spray for it. This time, he just tried to handball it over the top. Michael Goalkicker took a fantastic look. He just took the gamble. I'll jump up and smother it.
Schwarz does well. I think that was out of bounds. Well, there was centimetres in that too, folks.
And he's tried to handball that through for a point there, Schwarz. He couldn't get it boot to ball, so he thought, I'll handball it through for a point.
Well, who came in and knocked it? It was fantastic defence. Because those Hawthorn boys, they're obviously aware. Sneak a point, they lose the game. Boundary throw in, right in front of the Melbourne goal. It's got to be balled up now. Taylor, chance for Farmer, still there for Melbourne. A chance for the D's. No, those gallant Hawks defend grandly. There is 1.5 minutes left. The odds are in favour of the Demons. It's only metres from their goal.
It's like a rugby match just for the moment, isn't it? They're trying to force it over the line.
Someone's got to go back and stand on the goal line because they'll try and punch the ball through.
Throw up. The Demons build it. They've got it through from behind. There is time though. Hawthorn will get one good crack at this. Melbourne lead by a point. Crawford, he has to come back. I think the umpire was still waving the flag.
Yes, that's right, Bruce.
Of course, the Hawks have no idea. The players have no idea how long there is to go. The clock says 31 minutes 50. That's a long quarter. There is time. Barlow from Hassel. Well, this is the last big play, you would think. Great mark, chip. Sensational.
Got to get it down quick.
Magnificent mark. Loads up. Doesn't quite get it to centre half forward. Tingo
Someone's got to go up. Joel Smith just was waiting down, but no one was there to contest the mark.
Leoncelli's got it. The Demons will wax it here. They'll try and soak it up. They lead by a point.
I think they're home. They'll hang on to it now. They'll kick backwards if they need to.
Hawks have to man up. Have to force something.
There it is.
Leoncelli back.
That's got him home.
McDonald back. Oh,
Gee, he was
kick
gonna
through
miss
for a point. Phoebe. Oh, across the line. Just to Walsh. That was close. Walsh away. And Melbourne has won it. The Demons by a point.
Great way to make a living, Neil.
What an extraordinary match. Well, if that didn't have everyone on the edge of their seat, I don't know what would. And look at the Melbourne players celebrating. Why wouldn't they? It was a fantastic victory. The game could have gone either way at crucial stages. Things happened at either end of the ground that could have turned it one way or the other. Both teams fought it out. And how extraordinary at the end they're trying to maintain possession of the ball. We had 2 kicks that looked like they could have gone through for a point or out of bounds and lost possession of the ball. But look at the 2 key forwards, Schwarz and Neitz. They were fantastic. Ingerson did a sensational job on Nick Holland. And I think Dipper's got one of them down there now. Dipper.
I certainly have. David Schwarz, well, they're the ones you want to win, buddy.
Oh, crikey, you get a 20-point start at three-quarter time. You think you're in the comfort zone, and that's what happened. We were a bit cocky, and Hawthorn came back. They were a good side, hard working, hard running, and Russell Robertson's punch at the end was the difference. So it's amazing how close a game of footy can be. It's a bit like a horse race.
Absolutely. Just take us through the last couple of minutes down there. Very nervous, obviously.
Trying to get the fish off with the blood rule, but there's a piece of red off the Coca-Cola sign, so we were trying anything. But look, it was rugby. Had to get it through the goals, and that was it.
Well played, mate. Well done.
Thanks, Dip.
Yes, big goals to Schwarz. Well, Joel Smith, our newsmaker with Mark Doran.
Thanks, Bruce. As Melbourne celebrates, you've got to spare a thought for the Hawks. It was a great effort, Joel. You just couldn't get there.
Yeah, I suppose it was a little bit disappointing in the end. We knew Melbourne would come out hard. They're on the rebound, 2 losses in a row, so we knew they would hit us hard. They hit us hard early, and we come back, but just failed in the end.
You've had to watch a lot of footy over the last couple of years with a knee, and you had to watch most of the last quarter. Not a good one to be trying. You're waiting to get into it and have some influence.
Yeah, I suppose I had a pretty disappointing game, and when it's a tight, close match like that, the last thing you want to do is be sitting on the bench. But credit to our boys. We had a short week. We had the long road trip over to Perth, so we fought it out, and pretty unlucky to go down by a point.
Well, you're back on the park. That's something. How is the knee after 3 full games now?
Yeah, the knee's great at the moment. It's pretty much 100%. Now I've just got to get my fitness back and I suppose learn how to play footy again.
Well, bad luck tonight. Thanks for joining us. Thanks Joel.
Thanks, Mark, with Joel Smith. Well done to Melbourne. It's a pity in the end it wasn't a draw. It was a great match. It was 12-13 to 12-12. The Demons winning over the Hawks. They just out-muscled them in the end with the ball in the goal square and able to belt it through. Hawthorn did very well, but Melbourne took the points and they're now 2-2 after 4 matches. So in the end it was 85-84. Sung with a lot of gusto in the final scores here. You don't get it much closer than this. 1 point in the end. It was Melbourne 12-13 to Hawthorn 12-12.
7 Sport hope you're enjoying this match as part of the 1999 Coca-Cola AFL Premiership season.
2 captains out there played great games, including Todd Viney, who's with the Big Dipper.
Captain Viney here, what a terrific game by the boys, and as Bruce has said then, the club song was sung with a lot of guts tonight.
Yeah, it was. We've, we haven't quite got the points last week. We were pretty close, lost by 2 points, but tonight was a real dinky-die 4-quarter effort, and come right down to the wire, and we just managed to get in front, so it was a great victory.
Got a few kicks yourself tonight. You took yourself off, got your legs rubbed, and put yourself back on.
Yeah, look, we've got to rotate a bit through the midfield there, and I appreciate the rest there for a while, and got the legs rubbed and came back a little bit fresher and ran out the 4 quarters, so it was good.
You had your chances early in the game to put Hawthorn away?
Yeah, it's been our problem the first few weeks. We just haven't put the score on the board. We've had plenty of chances, but we still missed a few easy ones tonight, and once we consolidate that and get away to a really good start, I think that will be all the better for us.
You lost Seacamp and also Shanahan, and obviously a big squatter kicking those 2 magnificent goals, put you back in the game.
Yeah, we unfortunately we lost those 2 guys early, which unbalanced us a bit, but Ox came good in the 3rd quarter. He hadn't had much of a touch, I guess, in the first half, but when we wanted him to lift, kicked 2 ripper goals and dead centre and got us back in it, which was great.
Are you back in the game now, 2-2?
2-2, I guess, we're back in it, and we've just got to work as hard as what we did last year, and we can't just take it for granted that we're going to win games. It's a real tough competition, so we're just going to have to fight and scratch and get up a few more like this. It'll be great.
And can you spot the player who's throwing nice at us? Because we're just going to fix him up in a minute. Back to you, Bruce.
Hey, Dipper, tell Todd he got the 3. I'm jumping the gun.
He got the 3 votes, by the way.
Jason's given him the 3.
And Jason doesn't go and he's crying too. Let me know.
Looking forward to seeing him.
Good on you, buddy.
Sorry to steal your thunder, Jason, but it was, I guess, it came down to the 2 captains?
It did. I don't think it was too difficult to work out that the captains were the best 2 players on the ground, and depending on the result, it would have gone either way. Todd Viney deserved with 3 votes. A lot of hard ball. He really did lift the side when they needed to. Shane Crawford, he got on top of the dangerous Jeff Farmer, and as the game went on, he got better and better. And Peter Walsh, he was fantastic. A real surprise packet down back. He locked up a couple of opponents, got on top of them, and gathered a lot of possessions and a good springboard out of defence.
From Kyneton via West Adelaide, and in only his 3rd game of senior footy. So the Demons by a point over the Hawks in an absolute thriller here at the MCG. Another classic Friday night match. Hawthorn, the last time they played at a night game at the MCG was in round 22, 1996, and the Hawks won by a point. But tonight it was the D's. Stay with us. More to come from the MCG right after this. Welcome back. What a thriller it was. Friday night football here. In the end, it was Melbourne by 1 point over Hawthorn, 12-13 to 12-12. And the Goalkickers For Melbourne, Schwarz with that big second half. Neitz got his early, Farmer and McDonald. Chick was very good, Crummell pretty good. Lord got a couple of goals in the last quarter. Woods a surprise packet with 2.
The 1999 Coca-Cola AFL Premiership season proudly brought to you by Telstra, making life easier. The McDonald's Footy Burger, the double quarter pounder with cheese. Victoria Bitter for a hard-earned thirst, and the new Mitsubishi Magna 3.5, the next generation.
Before the match, Hawthorn 5th, Melbourne 12th. Let's check the ladder. And you'll see that Melbourne puts themselves in the 8. They probably can't hang on to that position. Hawthorn maintain their position at the moment. There'll be a lot of change coming up in round number 4. So the D's in the 8 for the moment. But round 4 looks to be a beauty, Jason, as always.
Yeah, it certainly does. Plenty of great action ahead of us in round 4 as we take a look at the rest of the matches. Carlton will go in as short price favourites against Freo at Optus Oval. A big one out of the park, St Kilda and the Western Bulldogs. Collingwood will be desperate against Richmond at the G. Bit of feeling in the match, Sydney and the Kangaroos at the SCG. That's tomorrow night. The Lions hosting the Premiers, Adelaide at the Gabba. And the 4 undefeated sides playing on Sunday. Port Adelaide hosting Geelong at Footy Park. And West Coast and the Bombers at Subiaco.
Bit of a super Sunday, isn't it? A double header. Reminder about Just Footy, terrific program. Check your local guides. And Wayne Carey, the host, making tracks, one of the highlights there of Just Footy. Entry coupons available in TV Week. Absolute beauty. You can calm down now. I know you're slightly disappointed. Why not? That's it. 1.46 thousand. What a way to start the weekend. Thanks for being with us.